2017 클래시 로얄 크라운컵 글로벌 시리즈를 경기 속에서 확인해 보겠습니다.
그렇죠. 로켓 출발해야죠.
마무리 짓습니다.
고블린이 꺼낼 수가 없고요.
없습니다 이거.
대형 석궁단의 센스 있는 플레이.
주먹을 꽉 쥐면서 형님들 저 지나갑니다.
소가 없이 골렘으로 뱅이 들어가.
바꿔야 돼 골렘 덮밥으로.
임팩트 있는 모습을 보여줬습니다. 못 때려 광문으로 바꾼다.
첫 번째 3대0 경기 아닌가요?
3대0이 나왔고
설마
해골뱅스 들어버렸어요.
두 번 3대0으로 경기 마무리 짓습니다.
Welcome to Clash Royale 2017 Crown Championship Global Series Korea, day number 4. It is day number 4 already, Simon, as MG Clef, as usual. And we had some crazy and excitement and also some interesting matches from day number 3.
Yeah, so day number 3 had the Korean debut of the heal potion. Like, the card that nobody expected to see.
No one. I've never
out.
used that card before.
I've never
either.
seen it, like, let alone used it. But like, someone bought it out and it worked. Like, it did a good job.
And we had some interesting matches of 2 minutes of basically nothing. Basically nothing. It was very intense, but we had nothing in the arena for the first 2 minutes, and they just had everything. But of course, let's take a look at the overview once more for day number 4. Nothing has changed, of course. Best of 5, double round robin format between Group A and Group B. We'll have 4 players in each group. If you win, you get 3 points. Tie, 1 point. Lose, and you get nothing. We're kind of seeing who's standing on top, who's standing in the bottom from Group A after 2 full days of the series.
Yeah, so in the first 2 days of Group A, we have June and Youngala sitting at the top of their tables, and we have Hemosu sitting on the bottom with Jungang somewhere in the middle.
And both YouTubers standing on top of Group A. Of course, we do have the global ban, the double blind ban, as you'll see very soon before the match happens. And as you can see on the screen, it is day 4. We are, of course, our live goes out 4 days after, but still, I'm liking the patch. I don't think it's too much of a change, but I like the fact Sparky is actually a little weaker in damage, and I can take Sparky out pretty easily. I think easier now in a way.
Yeah, but the fact that he actually hits a lot more now, he has a lot better chance of hitting. It actually makes it really hard to deal with him sometimes.
That's right. We had Group A and 2 days, and now today we'll have another round robin of Group B. Actually, we will not finish here. We also have an extra day of all the groups, because we do have to go through all the round robin between 4 players. Basically, how many matches is that? Like, so
I'm gonna let you do the math.
And 3 and.
It's 24, dude. It says right at the beginning in the overview, it says 24 games.
Oh, never do math.
It's 12 per day.
But
12 per
let's
group.
see, we're going to have the prize pool. Look at the coins dropping down. Oh, man.
Ching, 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 ching. Like, can you imagine the sound of all that gold, like, hitting the floor?
I played some touchdowns and I got some gold, and I'm a happy man. I'm a happy G-Clef today. I got my 1,000 gold from spending 10 gems. Of course, I didn't win 6 times. I won like 4. But still, we have Group B players, and they will be going against each other once more. Some rematches, but some new matches actually coming up.
Yeah, so the first 2 matches are new matches, and then the second 2 are replays of the first day. We have Expo Master taking on Chasu. That should be a good game. Expo Master has shown that
He did not play a single Expo.
He's the only player who had an Expo played against him in this
and he
tournament.
lost, from what I remember. So we had some doubts about how good he is on that card. Because if you're the master, not only you should win with it, you should always win with it, or even without it on the other side.
Yeah.
I mean, then you're okay. Let's
if
not
you're a
go
master,
that
you can
far.
control it, right?
Yes,
You should
you
be
have
able
to control it
it
all the way. But here's the matchup, as you mentioned. Expo Master on the left, blue. Match number 1 against Charshu. Zebra, match number 2 against Ido. Expo Master once again in match number 3 against Zebra. And the final match for tonight will be Ido versus Charshu, match number 4.
Yeah, so Zebra and Ido are two of our oldest contestants, I think. I think they're both early 30s. And is it Expo Master who's the youngest?
I think so. Expo Master seems the youngest, and from the VCR we saw, I think he is the youngest.
Yeah, so Zebra being older doesn't seem to have transferred that age into experience. Like, he did seem very, I don't want to say weak, but he didn't seem as confident as probably he should have been on that first day.
Well, it doesn't matter how old you are, how young you are. When you're on the stage first time, it can always be nervous. And I remember my first cast, it was a lot more nervous. But we do have a video ready for you guys, and let's jump right into it. Oh, just one more second.
최연소 최고령 참가자인데
제 재능을 세계에 알리고 싶어서 왔어요.
또 들어갔죠.
대형 석궁장의 주먹을 꽉 쥐면서 형님들 저 지나갑니다. 마무리 짓습니다.
30대 형님들이랑 대결을 했는데 확실히 실력으로 밀리지 않은 것 같고 미니언 패거리 광부로 타이밍을 좋게 찔렀던 것 같아요.
야, 대형 석궁장의
네.
센스 있는 플레이.
찰슈더밤님은 예선전 때 원래 저한테 치셔가지고 딱히 걱정 안 되고 편하게 할 수 있을 것 같아요. 쉽게 정리할 것 같습니다. 오늘은 꼭 이겨가지고 올라가겠습니다. 파이팅!
빙이 들어갑니다.
자, 슈더법 3대 0으로
진짜 밴을 잘한 것 같아요. 정제서 볼 때 이렇게 골렘 덱을 이렇게 쓰면은 웬만하면 다 이길 수 있겠다.
다시 한번 골렘이에요. 차 슈더법 아이디 바꿔야죠. 골렘 덮밥.
그 뒤로는 계속 골렘을 고집해서 이긴 것 같아요. 충분히 제가 할 만하다고 생각해요. 다른 분들에 비해서 쉽지 않나. 대석장님한테는 꼭 복수를 하고 싶어요. 제가 예선에서 졌는데 이번에는 꼭 이겨야겠다는 마음으로 임하겠습니다.
There you have it. Expo Master and Charshu seems like they went against each other in the qualifiers.
Yeah, and it seems that Expo Master had his number in the qualifier, so it'd be interesting to see if he can repeat that feat today on stage in the group in the round of 8.
In day 2, Charshu really played a lot of golem decks, and he brought in strong attacks every single time, pushed in, got most of the towers most of the time. It worked for the entire day, but after weeks of preparation of what they do, what they play now, and I'm pretty sure Expo Master has a brilliant strategy against if he brings that golem out once more.
Yeah, the golem is really, really strong for Chasu as well. Like, both players are showing that they have a variety of decks. Like, this isn't kind of one-trick pony players. These are players that can play multiple types of decks. And as we can see, we have Expo Master's stats on the screen. He actually has the lowest trophy count, I think, in this group. So that might play against him, but he did take down Zebra and did lose to Ido on the first day.
When he was playing lots of air ones with the Mega Minions of Mega Knight, he won that match against Zebra. When he brought in the Hog Rider, when it was not banned, he actually used lots of Hog Riders. Did not do too well, as Hog Rider seems to be not the best card going on. Even if it's not even used too much when it's not even banned. Sometimes banned, but we barely see Hog Riders in this tournament.
Yeah, which is completely different to the ladder where we see Hog Rider everywhere. And on the screen now we have Chasu. Very similar current trophy count, but his highest trophy count is a wee bit higher.
A lot higher, and he brought in lots of slow, as you mentioned. The slow, heavy, the golem ones, and even some lava loons, some air decks. The heavy one seems like he wants to push in with high hit point units, so it's going in front slowly and then slowly building that with some spells. He used some poison, even some tornadoes, if I can remember correctly. I think it was Chashu using tornadoes sometimes even.
Yeah, he was using tornadoes, and they were nearly every time they were on point. I think there might have been one where it's slightly placed too far to the right, but otherwise he was doing amazingly. And here we have the bans.
Expo is banned.
We see people keep banning Expo against Expo Master, yet we haven't actually seen him use it. But these two faced off in the qualifiers, so maybe Expo beat Chasu with the Expo.
Yeah, maybe that's how it went, and maybe this is the feedback we can already tell that after watching the day 2 what they played, because Charshu actually played lots of heavy ones, and even without the Elixir Collector, Charshu still played the heavy decks. But if he has the Elixir Collector, that's even worse. So I think that's the line of thinking that Expo Master is having right now. Expo is banned, but he never played it before, but he seems like a master, so why not just ban that out?
Yeah, we saw it in the first day too. People banning Expo against Expo Master. If I was going against Expo Master after day 1, I'm not sure I would ban out the Expo at all.
Well, we never saw it, but we're not gonna see it for today's match either. And they will now have 3 minutes to build their decks after watching the ban. Of course, they cannot use the card, or they have to forfeit the game. So they have to be careful. We saw one of the player, was it Zebra?
It was
he actually
Zebra.
used the card during. Actually used the ban card during the match, and he had to forfeit the game because he used the ban card.
That was in qualifiers, right?
Yeah, in
I
qualifiers.
think you mentioned in qualifiers.
It even happened sometimes in the other regions, and I saw it happening from a few players. So, of course, you cannot forget what the ban card is.
Yeah, the audience today, though, from what I can see, it's really full out there today.
It's really full. They want those socks, and I really want those socks. And
You keep talking
Clash
about the
Royale
socks, like
socks,
I'm gonna buy you some socks, man.
hey, Korean socks are pretty good,
They are.
as you know. And it's really cheap too. Well, they're looking through the deck. Seems like it's a very light one. Also, we saw some air, some ground units. Very light. I saw lots of 1 and 2s and 3s.
And here we have a look. Expo, please. There we go.
Oh,
I can see
Graveyard.
Graveyard. I think I saw Mega Knight.
Oh, he was clicking on Expo for a second. Maybe he was trying to scroll up and down from that moment. I don't know.
Maybe it was his lucky charm. Maybe before he enters the game, he taps on the Expo a few times to gather that look in for
Let's
himself.
take a look. Ice Golem with Ice Wizard. Lots of Ice and Tornado. Okay.
Night
Seems
Witch.
like this is a great graveyard deck.
But the
on
thing is, we
Diaz
don't
with the
even
poison.
know. We don't even know if they're going to use these decks. Like, these might
Yeah,
be
of
their
course.
decks for later on, or maybe they'll change it during the minute they get to change.
Yeah, without the Elixir and Expo Master, he seemed to be having a better time when he was just cycling through the light deck. So I think he's just keeping with that starting with that momentum from the very beginning, because oftentimes they have 2 matches today. They can still show everything, which what a lot of the Korean players did. They usually keep the same deck from their match 1 to match 2 on the same day. But they don't have to, of course. But usually they do, because they keep on winning. If they keep on losing, of course, they tend to change. But for winners, they tend to stick with the same deck for the entire day.
Clone going into one of Chasu's decks.
Lumberjack and Golem.
I don't think we've seen Clone once this tournament yet, right?
Not yet. But I do see lots of clones being used with Golem sometimes when I'm on the ladder. And it's very painful to deal with the clones. It's so much more pressure to deal with when you're doing the defense. So maybe he's thinking about that clone, as we just saw on the screen. 15 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah.
Are we going to see that clone?
I hope so, because Clone Golem, like when the Golems explode, they deal quite a lot of damage.
The Golems with Night Witch, that's basically the cheese push. And it's really hard to do so, even more with the clone spell coming in. I think he is thinking of that clone spell right from set number 1. But now the music changed, and I think we are getting hyped, getting ready for game number 1. It is the very first game, very first match of day 4 between Expo Master and Chashu. Let's go into game 1. Let's see the arena and what kind of decks they have brought for our very first game. Let's go. Expo Master in blue on the bottom. And Charshu in red on top. As usual, 11-9s. All same. Fair and square.
Yeah, so Chasu on top is actually similar to how his standing is in this group. He is sitting on top of the table with 6 points, while Expo has 3 points, sitting right in the middle.
And they're both, of course, looking for more. And
Wow.
Charshu, seems like we're having another match of intense arena. Maybe it's just our eyes. We can't see anything that's going on. See, they're tapping so much. Maybe it's just our monitor that it feels empty.
I think Chasu's like sending a text message or something like that, like, "Oh, hey guys, look, I'm at OGN. I'm
Oh,
playing."
look at their hands. They're getting all sweaty and intense. Oh, look at this. They need some time to chill and just feel the breeze and just wait for the right moment. I think this actually, we don't actually know. Well, of course, we don't know what kind of decks they brought for game number 1, but from what we've seen so far, because Expo Master has a lot of light ones compared to when Chashu has a very heavy push. If Chashu just has a golem and just clone it and go all the way in from the beginning, I think that will be just the end of the game.
Well, I mean, it depends how good Expo's counter push is on the other side. Like, if Expo's counter push on the other side is quicker than Chasu's push, Expo takes the game.
The golem is slow already, but if you have lots of ice wizard, ice golems, or even electro wizard, you can slow down the attack for such a long time. Okay, is this going to all the way to 2 minutes once more? This is...
I can't believe they're doing this to us. Like, the first game of the day, like...
Okay,
there
there's
we
the
go.
first one. And the
Ice Golem comes out, Graveyard,
Graveyard,
Tombstone,
and
Midnight.
Expo
this-
also has not actually
the poison.
Yeah, poison actually used from Charshu, so that will take out most of the skeletons.
Yeah, it's hard to tell who the poisons is right there. There's another Graveyard, so both players are playing Graveyards. These seem very similar decks at this point in
And
time.
Graveyard can't countered by
Another poison.
Expo Master's own poison this time, so they're using the poison to counter actually, not to intensify their own attacks.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the right choice. I think personally, I tried to save the poison for my own attack.
I don't think they had the cycle for the maximum attack. See Graveyard coming in and poison just to counter. I think the cycles just keep on happening right now.
This is a true mirror match. Both players are playing almost the same deck here.
3-3-3-3 on both towers too. A little bit more scratch onto Expo Master, but another Graveyard comes down and the poison drops.
It's so hard to tell. There's a log. It deals a little bit extra damage. Expo takes a slight lead at this point, but it's anybody's game right now.
This is exactly like a mirror deck right now. And Mega Minion along with the Ice Wizard is pushing a little bit more now, doing some more damage onto that bottom right Princess Tower.
Yeah, I thought the poison there would have managed to deal with it quite easily, but it didn't seem as powerful as it did before.
The Graveyard drop and the counter poison. We're seeing the exact same play coming in over and over and over again.
I just wonder what Expo's last card would be, because like it needs to be something different other than a tornado here.
Maybe just a rocket just to finish off the game. I think that can be a good card, but in terms of if you're looking at favor, Charshu is winning by 200 plus 8 hit points on the tower.
However, Expo does have a slight advantage.
Oh,
in
this
his
poison's actually
elixir.
a little bit off the circle, so this time the Graveyard did tons of damage.
Yeah, it did a lot of damage, and also that Expo used his own as an offensive tool this time instead of a defensive tool, which might actually come back to bite him as the Graveyard has been put on that bottom tower, and it didn't deal as much as I thought it would. I thought it would actually connect a lot more.
Let's see, the Graveyard is used, and the poison to counter this time used almost perfectly onto this right circle.
I mean, at this point, if I was Expo Master, I think I would have used the poison again as an offensive tool, because last time he didn't need it so much for the defensive tool.
There's a Tornado plus Log doing tons of damage to all those ground units. This is a mirror match what we are watching over and over again. We may actually have our very first tie. We only have 110.
Good defensive poison there by Expo Master, which kind of nullifies that Graveyard by Chasu.
I think about 3 connects onto the tower.
We have 1 minute left, and both these players are just playing a tug of war on this right-hand side of the map.
And they can't change it anymore because they are doing scratching damage to the tower. They can't really change the focusing. They don't have enough time. They don't. And Expo's still holding in that last card for a major push. I wonder what's that going to be.
I don't think it's going to be anything at this point. The only thing I can think of is maybe a rocket, but I think we'd have seen it by now.
Let's see what kind of card that he's been holding. Down to 900. It is close. But 20 seconds. I think he can just defend this and make it into a tie. Tornado.
It is a tornado. These two players put identical decks to this matchup.
Very identical.
An offensive poison there by Chasu. Chasu's going in for the kill in the last 10 seconds. Will he be able to do it?
Let's see, 400 left and 3 seconds. I don't think he has enough time, and that will be our first tie of the tournament.
What a game. I was not expecting to see a single tiebreaker here. I wasn't expecting to see a single tie. We're not even wearing ties. Like, what is going on here?
We're wearing bow ties, and Graveyard Poison, I think it had to do with the cycling from the beginning. Their cycling
It was
actually
identical.
It was identical, and Graveyard could not really. I guess they didn't have Graveyard and Poison at the same time, and the cycle just kept on continuing like that because they were just using it offensively, and they had to use the Poison defensively when they saw that their opponent also had the Graveyard, and basically exactly the same deck. I guess Ice Golem and Ice Wizard were different, but Tornado the same.
Yeah, I think
Tombstone were the same.
both players, I think, realized very early on that they were probably playing the same decks. So maybe they thought, I need this poison here to defend more than attack, because the Graveyard, if left alone, will deal so much damage.
Because they don't have too many. They have Mega Minion, but Mega Minion sometimes is just not enough to kill all those skeletons rising up from the ground. I think they made the right choice to defend and make this into a longer game and have our very first draw of Global Series Korea here. And that will bring us to, I guess, 0-0 for now. That's interesting. I think Expo Master brought that deck to counter the Golem push, because the slow ones can actually, making the Golem super slow, having those tombstones can actually draw the Golem into the other side, which will make it into a longer attack, slower attack, having all those ice, having some air, the poison. I think he had the right tools. But maybe, I'm pretty sure he didn't know that he would be going against the exact same deck.
Yeah, Chasu didn't look happy with that game.
Well, let's see. I think after a minute, let's see if they made any changes to their deck, because those decks were about as equal as we can get. Let's get into game number 2.
So after an identical first game here, I do wonder if they've been looking at each other's deck lists and looking at each other's like preparations.
Oh, Tornado activated the king from the beginning.
Expo raises his head. He's like, not this again. I think this happened in the first day as well, where Tornado managed to pull the Goblin Barrel onto the Crown Tower.
And he still has, maybe Chashu actually has the same deck. He has used the Tornado, Tombstone, and Ice Wizard. I think it's the same one.
Yeah, but this time he didn't wait 2 minutes until he started putting anything down, which definitely is a great help for us as casters.
Oh, Tornado, Poison, yeah, he kept the very same one. So he went with the Mind Games. But Expo, he changes a little bit. He does not have Poison this time.
Interesting Goblin Gang there, dropping it straight on top of the Poison. I think if he'd have put that back a little bit more, he would have at least had the Spear Goblins to push out with.
Let's see, I think he was just trying to tank a little bit minor along with the barrel, but the king is also attacking. This attack is not as powerful now.
Yeah, and the Tornado there from Chasu did actually miss the minor. I'm not sure if he was aiming for the minor. Maybe he just thought like the Crown Tower and the Princess Tower would be able to do it, but it is what it is. It looked like it missed. It probably would have been a little bit more effective.
You know, as a Clash Royale player, the moment you activate your opponent's King Tower, you just say, oh no, this is a hard game. I just have to draw this game out and try to just tie this, or it's really hard to win, you know?
I think if you activate their Crown Tower, you have to have a Doom push. You have to be able to go in, take out the tower as quickly as possible. And it doesn't look like Expo's deck is quite designed that way.
Oh my, all these air units are basically gone by a single spell.
Yeah, Chasu definitely has an advantage here with the bottom right-hand tower taking a lot of damage. Down comes a graveyard again. Gang of Goblin Gang defending almost perfectly, but get hit by that log right at the end. In comes a barrel from Expo. Will it actually do anything?
Yeah, putting it onto the side so he gets the minimum attack, minimum damage from the other ones, but
a defensive miner comes out there. He needed that cycle.
yeah, super defensive movements coming out from Expo. And Charshu, all he has to do is go for the attack. He has a log, so many ground units coming out from the other side. It's super easy to defend with the king activated.
Yeah, I don't think this one's going to end in a tie. This definitely looks like Chasu is going to take the game.
Let's see, there's a Minion Horde will take some damage from the tornado. A little more favor going into Charshu. There's another barrel now, but he also has to make some push.
Yeah, great log there by Chasu. Read the situation perfectly. Knew he had to save that elixir to drop that log as soon as the Goblin Barrel hit.
The Minion Horde can actually do a strong push if they make it into the tower with full health. But if they are always countered by tornado, poison like that, they can't really do too much damage. That barrel did connect and did some damage.
Chasu is taking quite a lot of damage onto that tower now, and it's kind of evening up the game a little bit. But Chasu does have options. He can go for either tower at this point, and it won't hinder his progress.
But not when you have the graveyard on the other side. Miner doing some damage. Barrel will also do some damage. Nice log, perfect timing. The bats will not do any damage, of course, but that 187 left basically will get taken out very soon after you see the poison spell, and one more spell will just take it out.
That should do it, actually. There we go. Expo knew that he basically lost that game just before. He had to go for the miner, the goblin barrel, and the gang of goblins all at the same time. He had to try and throw as much as he could at that top tower, and it wasn't enough.
Well, barrel and miner, Expo Master brought in lots of ground units. Even Minion Horde, but wonder if Bat was even needed. He had lots of air units. Minion Horde was a lot of Bat. If you're not pushing at the right moment, Bat actually does not really do any damage onto the tower alone. You need to be pushing in with something else.
Yeah, but I think Bat was kind of necessary as a good cycle card. Like, he needed something extremely cheap that can do damage to cycle through his deck a lot quicker. And also, he didn't know that Chasu would be bringing that deck, right? So maybe he thought there would be a Golem deck, because Golem's not banned out. So maybe he thought there would be Golem.
He was very countered. I think you're right. Maybe he was thinking about some ground units just pushing in. Bats do some damage. Even Graveyard. When the Graveyard is there, I often place Bats or just minions. But the problem was the poison spell, and oftentimes poison spell, tornado, all those spells with the log that basically took all the units out from Expo Master with those spells. Charshu just kept on defending like that, and all he had to do when he had the cycle with the graveyard and the poison spell, that was all he had to do, and that's how he got the tower like that.
Do you think we'll see Expo go back to deck number 1?
Possibly. I think Charshu will may just continue with this deck, you know? He still has lots of options, as he only played Golem decks in day number 2 in Group B, but here we go as they had their minute, and seems like both players are ready. And we are getting ready to go into set number 3. It is because of tie from game number 1. It is 1-0. Charshu is leading at the moment. But let's go into game 3 and find out who will get closer to take the series.
So here we go again. Both players waiting for that magic 10 elixir mark before they start putting things down. No Goblin Barrel this time from Expo Master.
Okay, maybe you're right. Maybe he went back to his game number 1.
But at least this time he didn't wait 2 minutes to put something down. Like, at least
Oh,
we can see
never
what it'll be.
mind. It is Lava
Oh!
Hound. He's making the heavy. He's making the slow push. Expo Master is. Let's see how he follows up with that. Maybe he brought some balloons along with him.
Yeah,
But
it
Ice
does
is
look,
already working on it.
yeah, but it does look like Chasu has bought the same deck. Which means in an ideal world, Expo knows what's coming and should know how to deal with it. Like that poison there put on the middle, that's the first time we've seen that. Usually it's dropped on the tower with the graveyard. And a balloon on the other lane. There is absolutely nothing here for Chasu to defend that balloon.
Perfectly done, but poison, not poison, tornado will actually draw the aggro to the tombstone, and nicely done using that spell at perfect timing.
Yeah, I think he was waiting for the ideal time to kind of like rub it in a little bit against Chasu there. Like he could have pulled it in at any time, bringing it into the middle, but chose right before it reaches the tower.
Yeah, having the maximum power so that tower is not damaged by the balloon. One instant drop. The moment it touches your tower, it does the damage, and it's a big damage.
It's massive damage from the balloons, but as you can see, Chasu this time, I was going to say, he hasn't dropped the graveyard yet.
It is the
There
same
it
one.
is. And a
With the-
poison defense. Good defense, actually. Like, making sure he had the poison against this is probably his best option to win this game.
Let's see how far the lava gets this time. Another Ice Wizard dropped down to slow the approach.
Mega Minion there to take it out. He's used the Tornado this time. That means the balloon goes on the other lane.
But he is using the tombstone to draw the aggro, even drops the poison spell. Is it going to be enough? I think so.
That bomb is definitely in range there. Yeah. Not the best connect he could have hoped for, but after getting tornadoed into the tombstone, I think that was almost perfect what he needed.
Let's see, seems like Charshu does not have the poison spell to go along with his graveyard this time.
This time just the minions. Of course he's going to take damage, but minions do deal with it incredibly well.
This is the moment. Where do you have to use the spell here? You will be missing one at least. It seems like the balloon will connect and actually uses tornado
what a
here
great
too.
tornado there. But the Lava Hound does connect with that tower, dealing quite a lot of damage. It'd be interesting to see if that Mega Minion there is going to drop as well. He's very low, actually.
Sudden death. And we're going overtime here as graveyard also
Good
used the
offensive
poison there. Let's see how many actually connects here. Also uses the zap. Maybe seems like Expo Master does not have his own poison at the moment.
That Lava Hound is going to get probably tornadoed into the tombstone here. Offensive poison by Expo Master. Very interesting again that he actually decides to use it there.
Oh, maybe this time the balloon will connect. The poison is no.
Perfect tombstone.
Tombstone perfectly placed by Charshu. This is going intense as all the towers are pretty strong. I would say the 1350 is still a decent one to survive for the next 2 minutes.
I really don't hope. Well, I mean, this looks like it's going to be another tie game, right? This isn't looking like one person is going to get super far ahead.
Yeah, especially with that tombstone at the bottom, because Expo knows that the graveyard is going to come for that tower. He's trying to draw the aggro away from the skeletons. He's dropped his own balloon, going in for his own attack instead now.
And the bomb doesn't connect with anything again, apart from the Mega Minion, which is an okay trade. Definitely not what he was looking for, though.
Poison will just take that out and do tons of damage to the tower along with the skeletons.
And Gang of Goblins, actually. Is it Goblin Gang or Gang of Goblins?
Goblin Gang.
I call it both. But both, like, he dropped it again inside the poison, which is going to hurt him. Drops the balloon, though. This is getting very, very close. Either one pushes into the other side now. It's going to look like it's going to be game over. That balloon is getting exceptionally close.
And it does get close, and it does connect. And Expo Master takes the game. What a close one this was.
It did not look like it was going to get there, and it just had this...
He just used a tornado right before, right? And did not actually connect. And we saw the expression coming up from Expo say, yes, I got it. Finally, just one hit.
That was, I mean, that was close. Like, you could see that Chasu had the right tools there, but the tools just didn't work as quickly as they should have done. And I think that if they'd have killed the balloon, they would not, the tower would not have dropped. And then there would have come a graveyard, and I think Expo would have lost if that balloon did not connect in that situation.
That was very close, as Charshu also was taking some damage down onto Expo Master's bottom right tower. That was, I believe, it only had about 500 or less.
Yeah, it was about 480, I think.
So that was a close game, and Expo Master feeling good, but you can see Charshu that was maybe he just made some last second mistake. He had some spells available. Even Tombstone was used a while ago.
Yeah, maybe he thought he had the tools to be able to defend it, but then just didn't have enough. Very slightly didn't have enough in that situation. But I do think we will now see a new deck from Chasu. He was a player who would play a deck until it loses, then swap, play it till it loses. And that's what we saw in the first day.
Well, that's what I do often when I'm climbing up the ladder. But of course, I end up changing so much because I lose all the time. But so I can never stick with one deck. But but I'm a Expo Master myself. I like placing Expos from the very beginning. I like going offensive and make them surprise and have some princes because there will be something like a minion horde coming out from the other side oftentimes. I like those prediction moves coming out.
Yeah, but I got a 100% guarantee right now. We're not going to see an Expo this match.
Yes, that's for sure, because that card is banned out from this match and the minute is already up. We will see a different deck very, very likely. Maybe he likes to play the mind games and he will just keep the same deck, who knows, but we are ready. We're tied up here after game 3 and game 4 seems ready. The players are ready. We are ready. I'm sure you guys are also ready. Let's get into game number 4.
Chasu had a huge grin on his face going into this game. I feel like he's either going to play exactly the same deck and not do anything for 2 minutes, or he has some tricks up his sleeve.
Yep, you have to be right on that. Either he will keep the same one or he will not keep the same one. Like, you can't be smarter than that.
Look, you want to say things that give you a 100% chance of being right, right? So I had a 100% chance. But what I mean is it's not going to come in with an ordinary deck. And this does look like it is the same deck
I feel like this is a bait, actually. And maybe Expo just keeping the same for now. Let's see.
It does look like Chasu has brought the same deck.
It seems like both players brought the same deck from game number 3 into game number 4.
I wonder if this one will turn out differently for Chasu, because last time Expo Master just about did enough to win it. I don't think it was as good as, like, I would not have brought this deck into game number 4.
Even if I'm Chashu, I think I should be feeling confident. That was just a single mistake at the end. I think I should have took that game. Maybe I'll just keep the same and try to win with it this time. It was just my mechanical mistake there. I think that's the mindset that he had after losing that game, and we have the exact same decks. Let's see who is the better player at the end, by the end of this game.
Now that's an interesting push there by Chasu. It seems familiar.
Ooh, this one connecting a lot. The Mega Minion took all the damage from the Princess Tower. The poison spell did help a lot, but already took so much damage.
Yeah, but that Lava Hound is going to work on that tower, and the Mega Minion is tanking the Ice Wizard damage, which definitely helps. Oh, the Goblin Gang, they go, I don't want to see no log today. Just walk around the side of it.
Okay, we are about even, only 67 more hit points for Expo Master. That's basically even, I would say. Another Lava Hound dropped down. No balloons yet, though, as he also had to defend with a lot of the smaller ones.
Yeah, so the Lava Hound there was used as a perfect defense, kind of to make sure that nothing happened to that tower.
He does not want to have two towers get damaged here. He wants to try and defend one lane and kind of just leave the other lane alone.
Ooh, he had the tornado available all this time, and this time Balloon does not connect.
No, but his suicide bomb will connect, deals a good amount of damage here, and I think Expo Master has probably the upper hand here.
The upper hand also in Elixir here, as he just dropped down Lava Hound and also has 4 more. He's dropping down the minion, make sure he gets some attack there.
Yeah, I think they both stacked no, only Expo Master dropped the poison there on that bottom lane to stop the graveyard. But this Lava Hound again connects.
But Chashu doesn't really care too much because he knows that Balloon will be coming in if he uses way too much spell on one thing. So Expo Master is also looking for that perfect timing and chance to go in. But this graveyard is doing scratching damages all the time.
Goblins are throwing themselves at the tower and dealing a little bit of damage each time. But the Lava Hound isn't going to connect this time. And the Balloon looks like it will fall before it reaches that tower. This attack could push the game into Chasu's favor. That failed to push, I should say.
It is very close, man. It seems like Chashu's having the lead, but one mistake from Chashu once more, because if that balloon connects even once onto that Princess Tower, it is GG.
Yeah. Poison dropped offensively this time for Expo, which opens up a window of opportunity here for Chasu to take it.
Going in 137 and 130, even Zap has to be dropped.
And there comes the log.
And that's going to be game. Exactly as what we called out. He knew that he just made a mechanical mistake, maybe a little late timing on the tornado with the poison spell. But when he had the exact spells to counter the push, he knew that he had the defense, having the tombstone, a tornado on top of that poison spell every single time to block Lava Hound and Balloon coming up. Never really connected to the tower too much.
I think Expo using the poison offensively there opened him up way too much for Chasu's graveyard to deal just any kind of damage to that tower. I think if he'd have saved the poison just a little bit longer, waiting for the defense, we might have seen that go on for another push or two.
Yes, he was risking his chances there as he was trying to make his offensive move even stronger by using that poison, because by hit points on those towers, he was losing at the moment by, I would say, 300-400 maybe, but his was low, going low, below 500, and when you go lower than 500, basically a few spells like the log and a few poison can basically take that tower out in a minute or even less. So he knew that he was going to lose over time because he does not have enough spells as much as Chashu. So I think he took the risk and did not, of course, work out. But sometimes you do need to when you see that you are going to lose over time.
Yeah, that's definitely right. And if Expo wins here, I'm going to have to add another column to my notes because I currently don't have any space to put in a tie. And it's just going to confuse me.
Well, let's see. We may actually have our very first tie of the tournament. If both players gets tied from the series, they only get 1 point instead of 3. So we may have to look into some crazy situations at the end, looking at the crowns from all the players. But the minute is up, and the final game is ready and set as both players are just getting their hands warmed up for the very last game. Match 1. Can't be close. Of course, Chashu leading with a 2-1 after a Game 1 tie. Ready for game number 5. Let's go.
So the question does have to be asked once again. Will Chasu make it a perfect 5 out of 5 with the same deck?
I think he might as well just use the same deck and not let the other one, because he also has another game against Ito, and if Ito only sees one deck for the entire matchup number 1, oh man, are we? I think so. Is it? Yeah, there's a shadow in the middle. Is that like a giant balloon going over the arena?
I think it's a cloud.
I think it's a balloon.
Either that or, yeah, it's the spectator balloon just floating around, like,
Is
getting
that like-
a good
is that like-
panorama of
Is
the
that like
the
20
stadium.
elixir cost? It
Both
seems pretty
players have to
big,
play.
you know?
Honestly, this looks like we have the same situation as game 1. Both players are going to wait for that double elixir so they can just throw everything plus the kitchen sink and the toilet at the other player.
Maybe this is all about pride. We're going to play with same decks, but let's see who's better mechanically. It's 1-1 with the same decks from when after Expo started playing Lava Loon. He took the first one in game 3, and Charshu took the game in game 4, and maybe we'll have the same deck. Let's see. What are you going to have, Expo? Seems like Charshu's having the very same one.
Yeah, but Expo doesn't have to really react to just the tombstone because it will never ever contact to the Princess Tower alone.
Poison dropped already.
Yeah, this is definitely a repeat of match number 1, but it is... Oh, and a Baby Dragon, maybe not a repeat of game number 1. So Baby Dragon working on the defense with the Ice Golem there to take most of the skeleton hits. The Baby Dragon then cleans up 4 or 5 skeletons at a time, and down comes the offensive defensive... Oh, I give up. The offensive graveyard from Expo
Yeah,
Master.
Graveyard and Nightwood. Seems like maybe he has... No, that's way too much. Maybe he brought his own golem for Expo Master. I'm talking about archers. I think he may actually be holding in that strong push.
Yeah, this is...
From what I see from the Nightwood here.
Yeah, Expo Master's attack here is way more powerful than anything Chasu kind of puts out. Chasu is very much on the... Yeah, Chasu is very much on the scratch damage, but Expo has bought explosive damage here, and it looks like it's going to work. Baby Dragon should connect to the tower, just not, but...
It's not from Mega Minion coming in. There's a poison drop from Charshu and Graveyard onto the other side. Ice Wizard trying to take some away, and they do not connect to the tower at all, actually. Nicely done. Just one at the end.
Yeah, but the Baby Dragon seems to be the perfect tech choice here. It is doing so much work for Expo Master.
Because Charshu does not have too many against anti-air attacks here. Baby Dragon actually is a good tool. The some attacks take some damage also. Pretty good air tool.
Yeah, bring in the archers as well for the skeleton, for the graveyard, just in case.
Ooh, this is doing too
Just
much damage onto
this-
the tower though. Poison still doing damage down to 308 on that tower on top.
Yeah, it's a shame he doesn't have a rocket here, because that would definitely seal the deal.
I think it's about to end. Once he has Graveyard plus the Poison Spell in his hand, I think that will just do it, along with maybe a Baby Dragon. There goes the Graveyard.
Chasu drops the poison there to stop the offense, but that is game. We have our first tie.
Our very first tie, we have it. And there we go. Just having the Baby Dragon as a chain seemed like it was enough. Because Charshu, I think he had the sense that Charshu will keep the same deck. And against a Baby Dragon, which was a good, very, very good counter against all the ground units who does not have too much air attack. It was a great offense with the Graveyard with his own poison spell now. Some small changes with similar decks can actually bring a win for you, just like this.
Yeah, I think that Chasu should have changed some of his decks.
Oh my.
Like, he knows, he's like, I should have changed.
He was way too greedy, I would say.
Yeah, he didn't want to show anything for his later games, and it has cost him. And it's cost me too. I now have to write another column on my score sheet.
Just write one. It's not too hard. And I would love to have ties because this makes drama. This makes lots of stories to happen. We may actually have lots of tie break, who knows? But this was an intense series, and we had our first tie, very first game, and it became a 2-2, and it's a tie for the first time. And Charshu and also Expo Master will take a single point from that series.
What this does mean, though, is Chasu is still undefeated. He is 2-0-1, whereas Expo is 1-1-1. That 1 point actually might make a difference if Ido doesn't win against Zebra.
Yeah, that's the thing. And sometimes Seems like we are jumping into the result because we have our first tie for a second, just to let you guys know what happened here. And that was an epic series. Not too many heavy spells, like no rockets in the series, but let's take a look. Yes, it is a draw, 2-2.
Yeah, I mean, I still can't believe we ended up with a draw. Like, I remember on day one when we said 1 point for a draw, that'll never happen. Like, you know, you have 5 minutes. It's a 5-minute game, right? When it goes down to a tie. Like, when it goes down to overtime.
It's a long, plus 180 second. It's a long time. And basically, we can only have a tie if we have 2-2 and a tie from best of 5 series, or 1-1 and 3 ties. So basically, it's a very hard. The chances are very low, but to have that in our day number 4, I feel like we may actually have few more ties going into the tournament.
I don't think we're going to see another one. I think this will be the only tie we will see, and I think this tie only happened because both players bought the exact same scratch deck.
And we're about to watch the replay. I'm pretty sure that we're going to watch the replay of game number 1, where the both players tied up, and we'll just fast forward the entire thing. Let's see.
It's hard to tell at this point where we are. Oh no, this is game 5. This is actually game 5. You can tell because the archers
and the Night Witch.
Yeah,
yes,
the archers and the Night Witch.
Oh man, I wish game 1 with fast forwarding the entire 6 minutes.
Well, I mean, we are going to fast forward. We should be fast forwarding here until about 1 minute 20 when Chasu dropped.
Oh my! Look at the mechanics.
The APM is off the charts. Yeah, so now we just see both players playing around with their cards in their hands. This is the equivalent of just shuffling your hand every 10 seconds in like Magic the Gathering or like Yu-Gi-Oh or something like that.
Yeah, you do need to warm up your hand, as one single space away from where you want exactly placed can actually cost you big.
Yeah, that baby dragon being dropped there and revealing it that early should have probably keyed Chasu into knowing that he's going to struggle. And that baby dragon dealt so much damage to that tower.
Chasu does have Tornado, but he does not know the exact time to use it this time because there's no Lava Loon, like a slow push. If you use the Tornado for a baby dragon, it feels like kind of like a waste, so he's holding on to that for such a long time.
I don't know if it's a waste either, because if the baby dragon is sitting closer to the river than the tower, the Tornado will actually pull him closer to the tower and bring him in range. Wherever you want to try and pull him to, it makes it a lot more difficult. And because they waited so long to go, he doesn't have time to decide where he needs to put it.
Notice he's still holding into that Tornado. It's about the timing, and because you have to drop a lot to defend your own, like the Ice Wizard and the Mega Minion all the time, he can't really seem to find the perfect timing to drop that spell.
Yeah, you have to think a lot about where you drop that Tornado, especially against the Baby Dragon, because if you pull the Baby Dragon into the tower's range or pull it even closer, you're putting yourself on a clock.
I think maybe he needed to use that once, but match 1 is tied, and we have the first tie, but we will have match 2 coming right up. So stick together, and see you guys soon. Welcome back to match number 2. We have Zebra and Edo on the stage already. Seems like they are ready to jump in, but we had our very first tie in our first match for day number 4.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy that at the beginning I think everyone was predicting there would be no ties in this. Like, the tie is just there in case, like,
just
a miracle
in
happens.
Case. It happened.
It happened.
A miracle happened in Korea, guys. And we had a tie, but I don't think we'll be seeing any more ties for tonight. Maybe we will. You never know. But we do have a video for the players. Let's take a look at it.
1법 덱을 제가 계속 썼는데 어떻게 아셨는지 1법을 밴을 하셔가지고 오그맞기가 좀 힘들었는데
오브라이더 하나 때문에 훨씬 더 귀찮아지는 것은 바로 지브라 선수가 됐습니다.
살수다밥 선수가 머리를 좀 잘 쓴 것 같아요. 제 데이터에 고블린통은 없었거든요. 첫 고블린통이 날아오는 순간에 제가 멘탈이 나갔습니다. 삼총사를 잘 쓴다고 알고 있기 때문에 그쪽을 좀 많이 대비해서 크래시 로얄이라는 게임이 또 한 번 이기면 계속 이기거든요. 다 이길 수 있도록 하겠습니다.
재밌게 놀다 갈게요. 상성이 제가 훨씬 유리했던 것 같아요. 그냥 랜덤 픽을 했는데 다 맞았어요. 그냥 찍었어요. 무덤 장인이라고 하시더라고요. 그래서 저도 무덤 쓰려고요. 해설장님이랑 할 때 석궁을 이겼잖아요, 마지막에. 무덤이라는 카드가 있지만 다른 7개의 카드가 다 되게 많거든요. 그거를 생각하면 솔직히 머리가 아프죠. 지난번에는 아쉽게 1승 1패를 했는데요. 오늘은 꼭 2승을 해볼게요.
Oh yes, this is an intense match. The match between the 30s. Oh boy.
I'm not quite ready to join in this game yet, but give it a few weeks and I'll be in my 30s too, and then I'll join this elite club of 30-year-old Clash players.
Well, we do have to respect the elders here as they're sitting in their seats. And life's tough when you get into 30s, but you still enjoy Clash Royale. That's what it is. It brings together from these kids in the venue to older guys. You can play easily. This game's so easy to play. I love it so much.
I don't know whether to take offense that you call me an old guy.
No, you're not in 30s yet. So
Yeah,
you're
but you
not
said it was
old.
hard for me, man. Like, life is good.
But Zebra is right here. Sorry, Simon. Zebra's right here as he played. Of course, he is down on the ladder. He is the bottom of Group B, but played Graveyards a few times, Mega Knight, Tornado, but there has been a change, and it's a big change in the Graveyard card. I think that's also why that lots of players from Group A and also Group B is using lots of Graveyard card after the change. The less random spawn is really helping them right now.
Yeah, it's also helping the defense because you can perfectly position your poison over the top to deal the most damage. Here we see Ido, who is 1-1. He's currently second from bottom, but that's because Expo has already played one extra game. 2-3, he lost to Chasu. Really good game, actually. And then he dominated Expo Master.
Yeah, Ido, he had a good fight against Charshu in match number 1, but it was not enough, and he lost against the Golem. Actually won 3-0 against Expo Master with lots of miners, Elixir Collector.
Ooh.
And that's why it is banned from Zebra, because Ido took a 3-0, having that Elixir Collector. And banning a Lava Hound, okay, that's a little surprising one.
I feel like banning the Elixir Collector kind of rules out, most of the time, it rules out Lava Hound. Unless you're playing the wait until the overtime decks like we saw earlier.
Maybe he has some other info that we do not know about from the tournament. I don't think Zebra maybe once played Lava Hound, but other than that, he was mostly focusing on Graveyard. A lot of the ground units, actually, just few Infernal Dragons. And that was it. No Lava Loons coming out from Zebra. So that's a little bit unexpected. Maybe his attack or what he's planned are for the spells. Maybe he doesn't have exact tools to defend against the Lava Hound.
Yeah, it could also be, like, banning the Lava Hound here could be, I am currently not happy facing Lava Hounds. I just don't want to look at it. I'd rather give my opponent all his tools and not have to face the possibility of facing a card I just don't like facing.
I think that's a good line of thinking that we're chasing for Ido. But with these big, heavy ones banned out, I think we will just see very light decks coming out. So it's like match number 1. And when we have lots of light decks, when we talk about light decks, we'll see lots of barrels, miners, and graveyards. I think Zebra can just stick with his old gameplay with Zebra, some Mega Knight using tornadoes as an offensive-defensive tool. Let's see.
I don't think so. I don't think he can afford to. Like, he didn't do very well in day number 1. So he kind of needs these changes here in day number 2. So he has to rejig his decks. He has to come up with something new. And the thing about Ido's Goblin Barrel play last time against Expo Master was just phenomenal. It dealt so much damage so quickly. It just felt like we were, I don't know, it just felt like he just dominated the game.
Well, let's see. Zebra had a memory loss and dropped a few games because of his memory loss from the qualifiers. Let's see if he does it once more, as to remind you guys, Elixir Collector and Lava Hound is banned from these players.
Yeah. Zebra also mentioned in his first video that he usually plays in the bathroom to hide away from his wife. Now, there's a different ambience, right? When you're sitting there in the toilet, you know, you've got a nice enclosed space. Maybe you've got like your own little doilies on the top of your toilet.
And it's smelly at the same time.
Yeah, and then here it's like, it's nice, it's big, it's echoey. Maybe the difference in environments is playing against him here.
Oh, let's see. His wife may be watching from backstage, who knows, as he's feeling the pressure. And he basically had to tell his wife because OGN goes on TV, goes live on TV. Of course, our show is recorded, but still, it goes on TV. And if any of your friends watch, and your wife will know that your husband is online or on air.
Was that your husband on TV last night? What?
No, there's no way. He said he was going to some PC bang and play some game, and
he said he was gonna. He said he was at like company
he said he was
dinner.
studying at the library. That's what I always said during high school.
Yeah, but that's high school. This guy's in his 30s. What's he studying for?
Same excuse. The classic ones are the best, you know.
Oh, I'm sorry, like, I'm not here tonight. The dog ate my homework. Like, it doesn't quite work as well, right?
But I don't like pets. That's the thing. And I'm allergic to dogs. But we are ready. The 3 minutes are up. I think we are going to see lots of light decks. But we are ready for game number 1 already between Zebra and Nido. Let's go into game number 1. We are ready. The music is building up. The hype is here. Let's do it. All right, Zebra in blue and bottom. Of course, you guys can read Zebra, but Ida on right and red on top. I always have to do this because most of the time they're written in Korean, just to let you know, guys. But the kids, all those audience, they seem super happy, and I don't know who they're cheering for at the moment, but I'm pretty sure they got those socks, and I want to get one.
Maybe they're looking for a collection. Maybe there's just different character socks, and they're like coming
That's
all the
right.
time.
I want some Hog Rider. And oh no! This poison activated the King Tower.
Why? Like, that is just misplaced. Like, there is no way you can defend that. And even Zebra looks like, I can't believe I just did that. That's easily one of the biggest mistakes you can make, and the poison didn't need to be that far.
Is here, of course, with the balance change, got some buffs on, and he will sustain so much longer.
Yeah, the debut of
hit
the
points.
cannon cart here just feels like an odd choice, right?
From what I remember, plus 5%, right?
Yeah, something like that.
I think that is correct, but activating that King Tower, I think he is already tilted somewhat. The poison spell doing tons of damage to the towers and the Electro Wizard. And Ido's making his strong push now.
Yeah, I mean, even though Zebra made a mistake, Zebra is actually ahead in this game, right? So, I mean, he shouldn't be beating himself up too much about it.
Yeah,
but doing something like that is a big,
looking at his deck, he was trying to make some push with the cannon card and also do minor damage onto the tower with the miner, but with that King Tower activated, it's going to be so much tougher to actually get any damage, because now the miner will actually go down in less than half time of what if the King Tower was not activated, you know?
Yeah, it's interesting that Zebra has decided to use the cannon card as basically his tank, right? Oh! Mega Knight.
Mega Knight comes in. Well, let's see.
Now, I'm really confused as to why there's cannon card in this deck. Like, maybe it will become clear, but with the Mega Knight, I don't think the cannon card was necessary. Epic chest bump.
Now, these poisons had to be the first one, but the very first one was misplaced big time. And these cannon cards are pushing somewhat. The miner is doing some chip damage, but look at that King Tower just attacking firing those cannons onto the miner.
Yeah, without that King Tower, that would have done probably an extra
But now
100
this
or
is a
200
big
damage.
push from Edo with the Infernal Dragon. Has to drop down the Electro Wizard.
Good Electro Wizard there to make sure that that Inferno Dragon changed target and didn't kill the Mega Knight too quickly. But this is a...
Is it going to do what? Does not get the hit, but the Spirit's actually connected.
Yeah, but if he'd have got the hit there on that Mega Knight, this would have been game over. That would have been lights out.
Because, of course, Edo has a poison spell. Will be very close. Even the log, I think he's just trying to take it out with some spells now. But he does have to be careful, so drops the Mega Knight. Trying to just defend right now with the log comes in once more. It does hit the tower also.
He has 300 on that tower, which I think is still slightly out of poison range, maybe?
Dude, the miner did some damage, but without the king, I think he could have already got the tower down.
Yeah, he'd have had this tower down if it wasn't for that King Tower.
Now Edo just using the spell onto the tower. I think Zebra realizes it by now that the game will be over very soon, and that's gonna do it. The log will do the damage, and that's it. Game 1 goes to Edo, just like that. A big mistake from game number 1.
Yeah, Zebra activating that King Tower actually completely lost him the game. There is nothing we can do to defend that. That was pure misplacement. If he hadn't have activated that King Tower, he would have taken that tower.
But it's only game number 1.
Yes.
It's only game number 1. This is a best of 5 full series. He can still come back, and he has a minute to change his deck. Also, he's got lots of time to collect his mind. And the Sox boys are here.
What are they doing?
They're waving like they've been waving for socks. I want more socks. You also get posters, I believe, and one
figure.
Clash Royale figure, one per each day, right?
That was like a Mexican wave, but a solo Mexican wave. There's got to be a name for that, right? There's got to be a name for a body wave like that.
Dude, he's a good dancer, I can tell. And
kids are, man. Elementary school kids, they dance in class.
Oh,
10 minutes in.
I know one thing for sure for elementary kids, and they're really good with Clash Royale. And they're really good. I have a cousin who's 11 in Korean age, so 9 to 10 in US. He's really good. He's in Arena 10.
I know a bunch of like 10-year-olds from my like other things that I've done, and they're all like Arena 10, Arena 11, and they all day long they play Clash. Like I wish I could do that.
We just wish, right?
Yeah.
But our time is not the same. We do not have the same 24 hours as they do, but players will have a minute to change now. Edo, look at that. I think he's done. I don't think he will change at all.
Yeah, I don't think he needs to. I think
For
that deck is
Zebra,
pretty
I
good.
think he will actually keep the same too. It was just a mistake. I think he can just keep the same. He would have won if he just did not make the mistake on that poison spell. So I think we will be very likely to see both same decks from both players.
It'll be interesting to see if that happens.
Well, let's see. I think these players are ready. Zebra just holding his head like that, and Edo having the calm, drinking some water as we are ready to jump into game number 2. Let's go into the arena.
So here we are once again, Zebra on the bottom, Edo on the top, and we're waiting for that 10 elixir mark.
Oh, but Edo often plays
Edo seems to have changed.
skeleton. Edo, oftentimes he changes his deck. Oh, even a dart.
Dark Goblin.
I think he's just throwing few art, just trying to cycle what he does not have from the beginning.
Well, I mean, in the last, when Edo played
Hog
Expo Master,
Rider.
Edo was the first guy to drop the Expo, right? So, I mean, maybe this is just his way of having a bit of fun with the opponent. But that
4,
Hog Rider...
5, 6.
So much damage! Edo brings the Mortar deck, but the Hog Rider should not have got that much damage onto that tower there.
And Battle Ram does not connect into the towers, so what a great defense coming out from Zebra. Just the Electro Wizard was enough. That Hog Rider just did maximum damage, I guess.
The Electro Wizard connecting to the tower as well. Like, this is not going well for Edo. Zebra is playing out of his skin. Even in the first game, it was a slight mistake that cost him. This game, he looks in
But
control.
here comes the Three Musketeers from Ido. He's splitting them apart. Let's see which way he goes in for the attack a little more. There's an Ice Golem pushing in already.
Oh, what a Mega Knight. Drops right onto those two Musketeers, takes them out almost instantly.
Deleted like that,
Oh,
but gets aggro
Mega
by the
Knight.
Battle Ram. They're going around the river right now.
So Mega Knight got changed in the last update where they fixed his leap. And basically that allows what that happened then. And the Hog Rider again gets too many hits off on that tower.
Let's see, Hog Rider seems to be so much damage. And 1 minute left, still a good amount of hit points for all the towers for Zebra's side. Ido has to make the push. Seems like the Three Musketeers are his key cards, but still holding in 2 more. I wonder what those cards are. A few more spells, I guess.
Maybe it's a rocket to try and finish it off with the mortar, but I mean, the change to the Mega Knight here allows him to be kited a lot easier. Good fireball there, taking out 2 of 3 Musketeers.
Had to use one on the left.
That Hog Rider is just doing so much work. Even just taking out that mortar is super useful.
But the Battle Ram
Zebra
now
now.
comes in along with the Skeleton. Mega Knight dropped on top. Perfectly done. And that's how you defend with the Mega Knight.
Yeah, Mega Knight is doing so much work for Zebra. And I think, yeah, this is
The
Zebra's
fireball.
game.
And Zebra takes this one with just the Hog Rider from the beginning. Ido, because he, from the start, because his cycle was not perfect, I'm guessing he did not have his favorite cards on his hands. He was using the Skeleton and the Dark Goblin just for the perfect cycle when he had the right amount of elixirs. He wanted to have the maximum push, maximum synergy. But at that moment when he used all those elixirs, it's not big, but it's small amount. Even those can make a difference. When the Hog Rider came in, he did not have enough elixirs, I feel like that, and he just could not deploy the right cards at the right moment.
Yeah, he had nothing really to defend that Hog Rider. The mortar turret is obviously a great defense. It's another building. You can draw the aggro from the Hog Rider, but he'd already put it down, and then the Hog Rider comes out on the opposite side, which is great play from Zebra. But I just feel like Ido was not expecting the Hog Rider to come down.
Or if you let that Hog Rider, and even in touchdown, if you let Hog Rider do anything, or not even do anything, just run past you, if you do not have any towers or structures to draw the aggro from the Hog Rider so it does not do direct damage onto your Princess Tower or King Tower, then it's really hard to defend that Hog Rider, you know?
Yeah. I mean, in touchdown mode, you can block out the Hog Rider. If you put him on the side, you can use a giant to push him out and he stops moving. But you said even in, I mean, especially in touchdown mode, Hog Rider is a great card. And even in the arena, Hog Rider is a top tier card.
Yeah, I feel like Ido could have used Mortal a few times to, just as a defensive use against the Hog Rider when it was coming in. I guess he did not have the card at the first cycle. And after a minute, they are again ready. Well, we are tied 1-1 right now, and we're ready to jump into Game 3. Let's see Game 3 between Zebra and Ido. That's coming right up.
Yeah, I mean, the big problem with using Mortar Turret as a defense there, Mortar Turret felt like his win condition. So if Mortar Turret was his win condition in that deck, he cannot afford to use it defensively. And we're here.
That's a big risk.
So both players just cycling out for something else here, dropping the log just to do a little bit of scratch damage. Miner Goblin Gang comes out, and that Miner is doing some work here. Mega Knight on the defense though, but goes for the Goblins and not the Miner.
It's about 500 damage onto that tower. Seems like Ido does not have a Tornado at the moment, or not in his deck for now. Another cannon card.
Yeah, this is Ido's game 1 deck, I think. Yep. So cannon card again is an interesting choice, but it is really good against the Mega Knight because the Mega Knight leaps once,
takes out the shield, takes out half the shield, not even the full shield, and then you still have the cannon left to take it out.
So it is a great defensive tool, you know. But let's see if he can. Now this is a poison well placed, not like in game number 1. And see how much more the miner can do along with the poison spell.
Yeah, this is how Zebra should have played the deck in the first game. And as we were saying, like, in the first game, he easily would have taken that tower if he hadn't have activated the Crown Tower. So this time we get to see what this deck really can do.
Let's see, as Ido's also focusing his resources onto nearby that tower. Because miner will keep coming in, he needs to defend his zone.
Yeah, dropping the Mega Knight at the back is kind of interesting. I feel like he was hoping that the Mega Knight would reach it by the time that it already transformed into a cannon. But Zebra dropping his own Mega Knight, Electro Wizard 2. This is excellent defense.
It's excellent defense along with a Zap too. He's slowing down as much as possible because lots of units are coming out from the furnace. As it will continue with these Spear Goblins now.
That perfectly timed miner came out just as the Goblin Hut died. Just as the Goblin Hut expired, he drops the miner knowing that there's only that Goblin there.
Let's see, this cannon doing some more damage and also defending pretty well.
I feel like that Mega Knight should have been dropped on top of the other Mega Knight.
I think he was just trying to just have the attention going to the side just in case the Mega Knight does a little bit more damage because the damage coming up from the range was huge, but the miner comes in. Now Inferno Dragon dropped down.
Great timing again on these miners. Like, the miners are coming out every time something is used. Something expires, in comes the miner to open up that little bit of a gap. But this Inferno Dragon should do a lot of work. Actually just takes out the Cannon Card. Cannon Card has done a really good job in this game, something I was not expecting.
It's delaying the attack so much. With all these ground units coming out, the log is doing some damage, but see how long it defends? It's just basically another tower to defend for you.
And we can see how long Zebra is holding on to this miner.
Now there's
every
a miner
time.
again with the poison.
This is good.
It's connecting a lot, but miner actually attacking the Ice Golem this time. So not as much. Down to 400 now. Still got lots of time to work on.
So this is looking really, really good for Zebra. I mean, 400 damage on the tower. Every time the Mega Knight comes out on the attack, he's got his own Mega Knight to defend. This is... Cannon Card is doing really good.
That was close. I felt like miner almost got too close to the King Tower from the Mega Knight push, but not enough.
Yeah, the miner will attack the Mega Knight.
But one single mistake, if the Inferno Dragon connects to the tower and do some damage, in 2 seconds or more, it can actually do more than 1,000. Let's see how far it goes.
This is looking a bit hairy now for Zebra. He's been in control this whole game.
Will connect. Oh, the Electro Wizard
Good
comes
Electro Wizard.
perfectly. Well done by Zebra.
And that Cannon Card again seems to be the perfect counter to Mega Knight here.
Nice control. I think it's about time for a miner and another poison spell to be dropped.
2, this should be it.
And that's going to be game. 30 more, and that's it. Zebra takes this one with the same deck from game number 1.
It was getting close there. Like, Zebra's deck only, Zebra's Princess Tower only had about 400 hit points left, and there was a big push coming. That miner and poison just about did enough.
Having all those zap, using all the electricity to zap them, stun them for a few seconds, really slow them down. Sometimes we saw lots of ice being used for match number 1, but this time they are bringing lots of electrics here. And that works if you can delay those attacks. We were wondering why he was using the Cannon Card, but it's mostly for the defense as we saw.
Yeah, the Cannon Card being used against Mega Knight is something I don't think I thought of before, and it seems to be pretty good.
It's from the buff he got. He does a lot more. He can sustain for a longer time, not just die from just one single swing from the Mega Knight. I think that's coming in super handy. Maybe we'll see a lot more Cannon Card as a defensive tool coming out in this tournament with the latest patch on the balance.
Yeah, the Electro Wizard as well. Like, when it comes down, and I think it slightly interrupts when it attacks as well. Like, the little jump, it causes units to retarget.
So if you drop that Electro Wizard on top of the Inferno Dragon, you stop it from hitting whatever it was hitting before, and it usually retargets the wizard.
Yes.
Using that with the towers, using it with the cannon cards, the Mega Knights, you can save your units for a lot longer.
Yeah, with the balance I just checked, the cannon card shield will survive from a Mega Knight's jump and hit now. So that was a big change. +5 on the shield and +5 hit points. 5%, I mean, not just 5. that would be
Nothing.
just nothing, close to nothing. But the minute is up and game number 4 is ready. As Zebra is leading the series 2-1. Maybe we'll have the end by game number 4. Let's see if they change their deck or Zebra will continue with his mind deck. Let's go into game 4. Set 4.
2-1 to Zebra. Was not expecting this actually after Zebra's last performance. Like, I was expecting him to
And also after game
well.
number 1.
Yeah. After game number 1 with that big mistake, I was expecting Zebra to be shaken, but something seems to have calmed his nerves. Baby Dragon, this looks very similar to Expo's deck.
Oh, let's
So
see.
far.
Baby Dragon. And a Knight actually dropping down from Ito. Seems like it's a different deck this time.
Yeah, I think he needed to
Baby.
change the deck. I think it wasn't working well enough for him.
Yeah, the last game, of course.
Graveyard
Okay,
comes
Zebra
out.
bringing the Graveyard.
Ito bringing the cannon card this time. But we don't see any Mega Knights.
But the poison is placed perfectly to take that cannon card. Also to damage the tower a little bit.
I think Zebra has definitely
Graveyard
learned
from
from his
outside.
mistakes. But that was a well-timed Graveyard, making sure that the Princess Tower was attacking the Knight just as the skeletons start spawning. Great timing there by Ito.
Graveyard Poison Spell doing so much work here as it's one of the decks you don't really do a big damage unless the player is AFK or something, but it does some damage, and over time it does do the job in 3 minutes oftentimes, and that's how you can basically win. Having a bowler here, okay, so he wants to make some push. I wonder what the last card is.
Judging by this, we do have a lot of tanks. We have a lot of damage. I feel like the last one is going to be something like a rocket. It needs to be a great finisher, I feel.
Just a spell, very likely. He does already have he did show poison. Okay, tornado.
Good
To
tornado.
synergize along with the bowler. Nicely done there.
Yeah, synergizes with the Baby Dragon as well.
That's right, a
And
Rhea damage.
This should do a lot of work. Both Baby Dragon and Electro Wizard and the Graveyard all connecting with that tower. This is terrible damage here for Ito.
Down to 382 from that. Just one attack. What a play from Zebra. Ito, because he was dropping down so many units, I guess he didn't have the poison at the moment, but now he's the one using those cards, but the tornado is drawing the units away from the tower. Just few skeletons and few damage from the poison onto the tower.
Yeah.
But this is close.
This
it's going down very soon.
This should take it.
The bats come in to take care of the skeletons a little bit, but I don't think it's going to be enough. 75. But one more, any spell would just take care of that tower now.
Tornado won't take care of it.
Of course, but he only has one more Graveyard, and poison just does the damage. All he has to do is defend, and when that poison comes in, there we go.
Fantastic.
And finish.
Fantastic games by Zebra. I think that Ito totally underestimated Zebra in this game.
And just keeping the same. Keeping a very similar one, not the same. Bringing that Baby Dragon actually helped a ton when he was clearing like the bats, when those small weak units in the air, on the ground, when there are a lot, the Baby Dragons do the job, and the Baby Dragon is one of the best units to take care of those all the weak units.
Yeah, that result there actually makes the table right now incredibly interesting. We have Chasu with 5. Then it's Ito and then it's Expo with 4. Then it's Zebra and Ito with 3 points each.
Well, it seems like We do not have a tie anymore in matches, but in points we may, and we may have to go all the way down to the crown counts at the very end of the group stage. But here we go. We have the result after making a crucial poison spell mistake on activating the King Tower in game number 1. After that moment, he was saying, okay, I made a mistake, but if I don't make that mistake, I think I can take this. He brought in the Miner, he brought in the Barrel, he brought in the Hog Rider, and with small changes, he kept the same theme, but he just had small changes, and that was enough to take the series.
Yeah, and even by using the same deck he used in game 1, in game 3, showed that without that mistake, he probably would have taken this 3-0. I mean, Zebra looked really, really good today. And compared to how he was playing in the first day for this group, I actually think he's going to do it.
Well, let's see. We do have the replay. Let's see. Is this going to be the game number 1 where he made the mistake? Let's see. Infernal Dragon, so this must be game number 3, I think.
Yeah, so we can see the cannon cart there against the Mega Knight is so good.
Look at the cannon cart working its way. Even the Infernal Tower does not really connect into the Princess Tower because of all those defenses. Look at that. Mega Knight dropping in, Electro Wizard slowing them down perfectly.
Yeah, the Miner did so much work every time it was summoned, but the timing of his Miners was immaculate.
This was a very big counter, you know, when you have all the structures, but the poison does damage to your units and your structures and the tower at the same time, and when there's a Miner right next to it, you're basically doomed with these cards here.
Yeah, he was waiting for every single moment that a building expired to drop that Miner to make sure it would connect to that tower.
And most of the time Zebra did basically maximum damage, and that was a close one I called out. It almost got close to the King Tower, but even with the King Tower, I think the game would have been over anyhow. The Log does some damage, but Zebra does not really drop down too many ground units in that lane because he knows that Log will be coming up.
Yeah, that was great defense there. The Infernal Tower starts to look at the Princess Tower, drops the Electro Wizard to make it change target. Brilliant defense, brilliant offense there by Zebra.
And man, Simon, when I go back home today, I will try that deck. I will try to have some graveyards along with the poison spell. I think it's going to work.
Oh, that's going to work, but I think I might actually drop in cannon carts.
Oh, let's see. I do not have the cannon card yet, but hopefully very soon. But that's it for match number 2. But we do have match number 3 coming up very soon. So wait for some commercial time, and we'll be back with match number 3. welcome back to Crown Championship Global Series Korea, and we have match 3 waiting for you. As you saw, players in their seats already. Expo Master and Zebra this time will be having match number 3.
Yeah, last time Expo Master took this game quite handily, if I remember correctly. So this should be a good game because Zebra was on fire in the last game.
Yes, with the graveyard poison and some miners. He was making some minor changes, and I'm pretty sure Expo Master waiting in that lobby behind saw all those games. I think he has to be prepared. Expo Master played some graveyard, miner, even lava loon, baby dragon, a very similar style to what Zebra has brought for us today.
Yeah, so it's interesting. I believe these two are in the same clan, if I'm not mistaken. I think they're both in the same clan, so maybe they're swapping hints and tips with each other, and they decided that they wouldn't do this against each other, but this is a good deck going forward. Look at the kids going absolutely crazy.
Oh, man. They're screaming for it. You know what they're screaming for? I want my Clash Royale figure. Please give it to me. I want one.
I was thinking
if they come
candy.
every single day, I think they have a very good chance of getting one.
I think
at least some posters or something.
Yeah, they have an amazing chance. I'm surprised they haven't already walked out with them all.
Well, let's take a look at the players right before the match.
노련하게 왼쪽 오른쪽 카운터 펀치를 계속해서 쳤다. 제브라 선수 센스 있는 플레이.
지브라님도 이미 저에게 진 경험이 있기 때문에 수월하게 할 수 있을 것 같아요. 솔직히 요즘 무덤이 너프 먹으면서 걱정은 안 돼요. 확실히 지브라님이 무덤댐 말고 딴 걸 준비 못 하시면은 다시 한번 이기지 않을까 생각됩니다.
4라운드는 제가 다 이겼던 상황이었는데 제가 순간 판단 하나 잘못해가지고 맨 마지막에 타워가 날아가 버리는 상황이 돼버려서 좀 멘탈이 나가 있어서 제가 지난번 경기 때는 너무 덱을 어렵게 생각해서 제 풀에 좀 넘어간 느낌이 있거든요. 그래서 이번에는 좀 단순하게 덱을 짤 계획입니다. 무조건 이기겠습니다. 리벤지 해야죠. 전략 없습니다. 그냥 무조건 이기겠습니다. 오늘은 이길 수 있을 것 같습니다.
Well, you heard it from Expo Master and Zebra having some toxic there. If you're not ready for anything other than a graveyard deck, you will be punished. That's what Expo Master said.
Yeah, so I don't know how this is gonna go because last time Expo Master, as we said, like took it very handily, and he looks very confident in these videos, right? He's showing that he understands how Zebra plays, and Zebra seems to be on the defensive for his play from day one. Like he seems to be, wasn't too good, but here we are. Zebra played really well last game. I think Zebra might take it.
Well, let's see. Expo Master had a tie tonight in the first match. So 1-1-1, having 4 points with the draw against Charshu, who will be also playing in match number 4. So Expo Master going against again. He used some graveyard barrel lava loons. He was going around with lots of variety of the decks here, as Zebra did not do the same, similar, but not in the same play style.
Yeah, Zebra found one deck that basically worked against Edo and used it twice to win. And then in the second game, he was using miners. So I feel like for a ban, I feel like we're going to see Graveyard come out and probably a miner as well.
Graveyard ban will be super impactful for both gamers. These audiences are just making me smile all the time. They're full of energy here, as they're just, I don't even know what they're shaking right now. It's too fast for my eyes, you know. I want to see some graveyard ban. I think that's going to make both players basically change their entire decks, and that really comes with the experience. They need the experience to change that deck. They have 3 minutes right after.
And here we are.
Barrel Ice Golem.
Ice Golem ban is super interesting because Ice Golem is one of the best, well, sorry, not the best, but one of the most cost-effective defensive cards against things like P.E.K.K.A. It's super good against anything big that you can lead on a little conga across the map.
And when the offense is coming at you, if you just drop that to Elixir Ice Golem, it doesn't do much damage, actually barely any damage or close to none all the time, because basically you use that Ice Golem to slow the units down and make them attack the Ice Golem instead of the tower and make them slow after you die too.
Yeah, we didn't really see Expo Master use the Goblin Barrels today, right? I think he mostly used Miner.
Just once against Charshi in match number 1. Game number 2 with Princess Miner Barrel. He got really greedy there, but other than that, we didn't see too much Barrel.
Yeah, the Goblin Barrel seems a very interesting choice to ban because we don't really see it too much from Expo Master.
Well, let's see, as Expo Master did use it once, but not too much. But for Zebra was using actually lots of Ice Golems here. I think 2 out of 4 for today, and the same.
Ice Golem in general is a staple card in most decks because it is such a cheap tank, right? That's basically what it is. It's a super cheap tank. It appears in almost every deck purely because it slows the game down. It slows down offensive pushes because things start attacking it, has a lot of health, and then when it explodes, it slows everything down with the ice.
It has so many, it counts so many cards, it counters so many cards, and it synergizes with a lot of the cards because it's slow, it tanks some tanks. But instead of something like the Giant or some very heavy, like Golem heavy ones, it's a lot lighter. It's easier to drop down. It doesn't cost as much elixir. Even if you make a mistake, you can just drop down something else right after. It's only 2 elixir, but for its cost, it's very effective, you know. And I think that ban will be... Zebra has to be thinking, what else do I need to bring? Do I need to bring something like a Knight here for a little bit more elixir, I guess?
I think if you have a lot of Ice Golems in your decks, which both players probably, well, I mean, one of them definitely does, right? I feel like you would replace it with something like the Knight, something like maybe a Prince, but something that is going to soak up more damage and is still relatively cheap in price.
Well, let's see, maybe Zebra will bring out his key card for game number 2 in last match, which was Hog Rider. And Hog Rider seemed to be doing a lot of the damage, which also Expo Master used in his first day 2 setup matches. I think he used Hog Rider quite often. So we may actually see a lot more Hog Rider coming out in this match instead, compared to all the others.
Yeah, I was trying to look over the shoulders there, like as the camera goes around to see the decks, and we didn't really get a good shot because Expo was sitting there like rapidly going between decks 2, 3, 4, like, and then he's just in the lobby. So it's really hard to see what either player is bringing to the field this time.
Well, let's see. It seems like both players are already ready. Maybe they'll just keep, like the normal ones from Korea, they'll maybe just keep the same decks for today.
Yeah, I can't see them changing.
I think after they clash once, if they see a big counter to what they had before, maybe that's the time. Maybe that's the time they start to bring in the change. But for now, very high chance to keep the same decks. And let's see, as the music changes, as they are ready, Expo Master going against Zebra, match number 3 for day 4. Let's go into game number 1. We have Expo Master in the bottom blue and Zebra on top red. A good game already and good luck.
Yeah, both players just exchanging niceties. It seems like I was going to say, please don't go on for another 2 minutes without playing anything. It makes it a little bit difficult to judge what is going to go on.
But bats split apart, you basically do not have to drop anything.
I mean, bats altogether, you don't really have to drop anything against the tower. Like, the tower will just take it out, maybe with 1 or 2 hits.
Yeah, 1 hit. Barely 1 hit. And as we called out, Zebra is using a Knight now.
Bandit is interesting since...
Gets the charge.
It hits, but it's close to that... Oh, and it activates the King Tower.
Okay.
Wow.
Now that's a good use of Tornado from the very beginning. Zebra wanted that cycle. He wanted that cycle to be in his hand. That's why he used the bat from the beginning.
Yeah, that was a great pull there by Zebra, and Expo Master has to be feeling a bit of pressure now. Down comes the Poison and the Graveyard onto this bottom tower. And it was dealt with okay, but another Bandit doesn't get the charge off on the Knight, which means it will fall to the tower and the Knight.
Yeah, does fall, but I think Expo is trying to do the maximum damage with the Infernal Dragon. I think he's trying to connect. And does have a pretty good idea, even a minor use. So this is a very similar to, this is a similar type of deck to what he used before today.
Great Zap taking out those bats, making sure that that miner can get a good few hits onto that tower. Deals quite a lot of damage, and we do get the baby dragon coming out from Zebra.
I guess now Electro Wizard will just delay the attack. Now Graveyard dropped.
And Poison, and then both
Another
players
Poison.
dropping Poison on there, and it's hard to tell whose Poison is whose, but I mean, it doesn't really matter. It's going to deal damage anyway.
And Knight just comes in to tank some damage. Bandit does not get the charge because of that. Miner comes in, but the Electro Wizard is now taking the hits instead of the tower.
Yeah, I feel like Bandit is a good choice, but since they changed it a little bit, they fixed it. It doesn't seem to charge as much as it used to, and I feel like that should have taken most Bandits out of people's decks. But right now, until we figure out what's going on.
Nice tornado used by Zebra there to draw out all the units away from the tower, doing so much damage from both towers and the Knight.
Yeah, the Inferno Dragon hasn't connected with the tower once yet, and this bowler is still alive. Like, this is... I mean, it's gonna go either way right now. Like,
bowlers are usually pretty countered by the Mega Knight because it jumps regardless of the rock. And he will go facing in. The miner is doing tons of damage.
yeah, but it dealt about 120 damage that time. Not particularly effective, and the counter push coming from Zebra is actually really, really strong.
And Bat right on top, so the Graveyard does not do too much. Bat will just take care of all the skeletons. Miner is keep on just doing some damage, but it's not as effective because the King Tower is activated from the very beginning.
Yeah, we saw that in Expo's first game where no, not Expo's first game. We saw it before where the Poison activated the King Tower. I think that was Zebra's game,
I
right?
think Zebra made that mistake.
Yeah, it's hard to tell because they keep changing the colors of their shirts. Like, it makes it hard for me to know who's who. But yeah, Zebra made that mistake before. This time he's caused his own King Tower, and the miner just does not get as much damage out. And it does slow down the miner so much.
We may actually have another tie here. Unless Expo goes all the way in. Zebra only has 1,000 left on that tower. This push seems like a strong one. Now the Poison kicks in. Maybe he'll
The
drop.
miner connects. There's not much there to stop the miner getting that damage on, and the Inferno Dragon looks like it might actually not connect this time again.
And Bats will do nothing right after. And 500 more. I think he has
This Bandit connects.
enough time.
The miner comes out, and a
The
Poison
he's
too.
just
This is going to be
dropping
close.
Everything but the King Tower is helping the defense. Infernal Dragon is doing some damage, but still very slow.
Expo Master now needs to cycle through his deck as quickly as possible to drop another Poison or a Zap on that tower. But if that Inferno Dragon connects, it doesn't quite make it.
116. I think that's enough. 1 minute is enough for another Graveyard,
There's
another
the miner.
another miner, another Zap. Will just finish the game. And that's how he does it. He just got some small damages, one after another. And that was enough. And even though Infernal Dragon was very well dealt with from Zebra, the pressure was real and often had to deal with from the other side. He used a lot of elixirs to defend. He did not have something like a minion to deal with the Infernal Dragon, which is a good one to counter against a single damage over time units.
Yeah, an Expo Master's Inferno Dragon was not very effective on the offense, but as you said, the pressure was huge. But even though Zebra's King Tower was activated, Expo Master still pushed through strong enough to be able to take down the tower, which is really important for his confidence at this point.
Yeah, and Expo Master takes game number 1. He He did tie up with Charshu in match number 1, so he needs to bring this victory for himself to climb up in Group B. As we still have all the youngsters cheering for the players here. They will have a minute now. I feel like Expo Master can just keep the same one and see what kind of counters that Zebra can bring against this deck now.
Yeah, well, in the first time these two players met, it happened the same way. Expo takes game 1, Zebra takes game 2, game 3 and 4 go towards Expo Master. That's how it worked down the last time, I believe. So maybe we'll see a repeat again. Maybe Zebra will be able to take it out this time. And Zebra actually felt like kicking himself when he lost last game to Expo Master, because, as he said himself, he overcomplicated his decks. He tried to be too flashy. He tried to do too much with his cards, and it cost him in that last game.
Yeah, he had a pretty decent theme in game number 1. Of course, I feel like it was well countered by Expo Master, and he just not have the best ways to deal with the miners coming in. But let's see if he is ready to make a comeback in this series, as Expo Master is leading the series with a 1-0. Let's jump into game number 2.
And here we are. Game number 2. Set number 2, sorry. I keep saying game number 2.
Oh, that's
set
fine.
number 2.
Game number 2, set number 2 is the same, as long as you do not mix up with the match. Match number 1 is, but match number 3 is a different one.
Yeah, so Bats take out the Goblins quite easily. Bandit gets shut out by the Mega Knight. This is interesting so far. We have Expo Master with the same deck. Zebra's bringing out something different now. Does he have an answer to the Inferno?
Let's see, brought in the Mega Knight. He showed his Mega Knight already.
It connected, and he only had a Zap to answer. That actually dealt way more damage than it should have. I think Zebra was not prepared to see the same deck again.
Oh, he had the cannon card. He had it for a long time. Maybe he wanted to make that push a little bit more and go far into all the way into the bridge, you know?
Yeah, the minions there, I feel like he should have saved it for the next time that he sees the Inferno Dragon.
Nice fireball, but some damage already does connect, and Bandit also gets the charge.
That tower has gone so low from so little. It just seems like Zebra doesn't have any answers.
Let's see. His deck seems very solid, but against what Expo has, he's doing some chip damage when Electro Wizard is often placed in the front. Maybe if it's placed in the back a little bit more, can delay the attack a little bit more.
Hog Rider comes out, gets 1, maybe 2 connect. No, just 1 connection. This is the same deck I believe Zebra played before, but Hog Rider was banned, so I can't remember what he changed it to. But I feel like the Hog Rider here is his only win condition.
Well, let's see. He did bring a win for himself with the Hog Rider in game number 2 against Ida with the Mega Knight. With this exact, I don't know if it's the exact same, but very similar deck that he has brought into this game. He also had the Fireball for the defense, but it was often used for defense, not as an attack though.
Yeah, he still doesn't seem to have anything that could go against this Inferno Dragon. Places the minions at the back. I assume he was waiting for the Electro Wizard to come down. But the Mega Knight is probably going to take it. In comes Hog Rider as well. This is actually a good push here. Hog Rider gets 1, 2 hits on that tower. And then everything goes down.
A nice defense from Expo Master. Also having this cannon card. Miner will do some damage actually.
And then his own Mega Knight comes out to clean up the Miner. The defense took time, but Zebra's defense is starting to look solid.
Maybe too late. Let's see if an extra 180 seconds is enough for him to take down the tower. It is still in Expo's favor, as you guys can basically see it. The charge will be coming in. Does not get the charge. Has to drop down the Goblin, but the Miner comes though. And it seems like that will be the game.
Yeah, the charge there from the Bandit finished off the tower. I can't think of what went wrong for Zebra.
I just think that he didn't he should have been expecting a very similar deck compared to game number 1, going into game number 2.
Yeah, the deck was identical for for Expo, and it asked a lot of questions of Zebra, but he just didn't have any answers. The Inferno Dragon, he had the minions, but he rarely played it against the Inferno Dragon. He had the Electro Wizard, but that usually got taken out by a Mega Knight. Like, everything he tried to answer with was already countered by something on the field from Expo.
The air attacks coming in from Expo Master, when Zebra did not have too many anti-air, I think that was the pressure he was feeling once more. It was kind of interesting how he actually did not choose to do an anti-air, and he wanted to go in with his own attack with the Hog Rider, of course, which did not connect so well, because Hog Rider, I guess, he might have had it from the beginning, but he did not play until he was losing already onto the defense.
Yeah, he took so much damage in that first attack from Expo as well. And, I mean, Zebra was on the back foot from pretty much the get-go here. And he just couldn't mount a good offense.
Let's see, I think not just the Bandit, because Expo Master actually banned Ice Golem, with Zebra used so much. I think that was one of the smartest ban coming out against Zebra. against Zebra. As he may just lose this 3-0 if it drops one more game, you know. Has a minute to change right now, but maybe the age is kicking in, you know. You get tired after work. It's very late here.
It's time to put the slippers on, put the dressing gown.
His hands are slippering at the moment, but we'll see. Still, 2-0 lead, a big lead for Expo Master, but still a room and chance for Zebra to come back into the series. Let's go into game number 3.
What I was going to say at the start of this was Zebra replaced the Ice Golem with a Hog Rider. That was what happened. Like, Zebra's last deck was the same deck he played against Chasu, right?
Ido.
Ido.
And also in 1, instead he, exactly as you predicted, he brought in Knight instead of Ice Golem, which did work somewhat, but I don't think it slowed them down as much as an Ice Golem.
No, Ice Golem is so good. There's a Tesla. Now, the Tesla did get a buff recently.
Big buff.
Yeah, but we haven't seen much of it, and that Tesla will take down minions in one shot.
Tesla, some archers. Okay, this is a different one from both sides, I guess. Ice Spirit. Hello, cutie. But the speed is very fast.
Yeah, for someone with such little legs, he does move quite quickly.
Does connect to the tower too, actually.
Yeah, you never really want Ice Spirit to connect to a tower unless you've got a big push behind it.
Expo, here comes the Expo for the first time from Expo Master, but a Mega Knight drop, and the minion is a very good way to deal with it. So archers are there, and the freeze comes in from the Ice Spirit.
Expo Master proving his namesake here. Deals so much damage with that Expo onto that tower, and Zebra looks like he wasn't expecting it at all.
And also, the placement of the Expo was incredible, because you know if you place it in the middle, the minions would basically do free damage and fly over the river. He wanted that placement to hit the tower from the left side. Nicely done. He had the archers to back it up just like that.
So now we're going to see a bit of a reset here for Expo Master, who again drops that Tesla Tower. Now, the Tesla Tower Expo seems like a really odd choice, but it is working out for him really well.
Because Expo is getting used all the way for the offensive use when Tesla is right there next to it defending. And here comes the Archer Knight again. Perfect combination to have basically Expo doing 3 damage, but that is not enough. And next time,
this time it is not connecting to the tower. And a good offensive push there by Zebra gets taken out really, really quickly. That Tesla Tower did really good work.
Oh my, the pressure is real. Expo, not only that it does constant damage, it has a pretty big high hit point on structure, so it takes 1 very nice fireball to take up, to do maximum damage on that.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, the Expo is definitely the closer here, and the Expo is currently finding it very, very difficult to connect onto the tower. There's always something standing in front of it. The Mega Knight, the Hog Rider, the Electro Wizard, the Goblins. There's a lot of things that you can just put in front of the Expo to make sure it doesn't hit.
But the problem with Expo is that you cannot lose a tower. If you lose a tower, then basically your space of where you can put the Expo gets shrinked into half onto the other side. It's super hard. When you actually did so much damage onto one tower, you cannot actually put the Expo anymore as an offensive use. So as you can see the Expo going down on as a defensive tool, doing the rocket to do the damage onto the tower now.
It is interesting that he puts the Expo as a defensive at this point in time. Like, I didn't feel like it was necessary.
I think he just sees that it may be enough, and if he just makes this defense because his tower is very healthy, 2 more rocket will just finish the game.
Yeah, and also the Tesla does so much work again. Like, this is such a good defensive choice. Making sure that the Tesla can defend while his Expo attacks.
Another this is a great timing for Expo to come out, and Mega Minion for the safety. The Longos will also do the damage. Few more attacks onto
It's not
the
going to
tower.
connect with the tower again. The Goblin usage, perfect there. Gang of Goblins gets taken out. Out come the normal Goblins. Perfect. And the split makes it so that the log doesn't take it out instantly.
Mega Knight, she taking so much damage as we see another Expo drop down now. And
This one should... Ah, it doesn't connect again, but the log...
It doesn't matter. The log after a rocket and maybe a single more damage would be just be game. Because Zebra cannot really go past that Expo right now. Because Expo is using it as... It's being used as a defensive tool rather than an offensive tool right now.
Yeah, we have 1 minute left. I was expecting to see that rocket come out already. There's a log. There's the rocket. That will close out game number 3. Good work there by Expo, showing us why he is called the Expo Master.
Expo Master with the Tesla Tower, with the Archer Knight. I have to improve on my... I have to make some fix on my Expo deck. I'll copy that one.
Yeah,
try to use it.
I was playing Expo for a while, and then I thought, Expo, it's not doing very well right now. It gets shut down way too quickly. Expo Master's just like, yeah, that's not right, Simon.
It's
Good job.
very... Expo is a very, very heavy one. Takes 6. And if you get that taken out with basically doing nothing, it feels bad and you get late. You lose the elixir fight like that. But he was using that as a defensive tool most of the time. Also, he had Tesla onto the side. So he was trying to divide the attention coming in. When the Hog Rider was trying to do some damage, direct damage to the tower, but it basically never got close.
Yeah, great work. And we're going to see the results come up on the screen. Expo Master takes the game 3-0, putting him at 2-1-1 for the day, at the end of the day. And Zebra is at 1-3.
Yes, and that was a 3-0. Our first 3-0 of the day. We had a tie, we had a 1-3, we had a 3-0. Oh, let's see the pattern. Okay, next one's going to be a 2-3 full series.
It's going to be a tie. The next game is going to be
Of course, but
tie.
we do have another match coming up between Ido and Charshu. They've been waiting for some time. And, oh, never mind. We do have a replay. I almost forgot.
Why do you keep forgetting the replays, man?
Which one do you want to see? I do want to see the Expo once more. He was the Expo Master. I want to take a look at how precise where he puts the Expo every single time.
Yeah, I think the game number 1 and 2 were very simple. This is game
Tesla
number 3.
Tower, yes.
Yeah, so
With
game
the
number
Expo.
1 and 2 were very simple games. Game number 3, the Expo actually did work. So I feel like we do have to see this again.
So
Archers split to take out the Goblins. Good positioning. Deals exactly the same damage to both towers as well, by the way. I didn't notice that before. Zebra did just 2, 3, 4 damage to both. 2, 4, 3, 4.
Now Tesla takes out some. The log actually worked so well. Hard countered what Zebra has. Basically, Zebra had... Does he even have a single? Yes, he does a minion. He does
Now-
have minions, but everything else is just ground units.
Yeah, what was really interesting there is that the X-Bow connects through the Mega Knight. Now, that's the first and only time I think we see it connect through a Mega Knight.
And other times, Mega Knight was dropped right, just at the perfect timing, so the Expo does not go through.
And it also helped that the Ice Spirit, I think, froze everything, slowed everything down. The archers were able to take out the minions.
See, most of the logs are doing direct damage to the ground units. Expo placed, and when that's down, Tesla is placed so the Hog Rider does not go to the tower. Well played by Expo Master here.
Yeah, what's interesting is that the Tesla easily handled the Hog Rider, which we don't see very often.
Well, that damage increase by 40-something% has to be a big one. Here comes the log. See how much they push back. And also does some damage onto the tower every single time. Because Zebra doesn't really push all the way down, when you use a log right near the river there, it goes straight to the tower.
Yeah, and the defensive placement here was really interesting. I'm not... Even now, I'm still not sure why he put that Expo so defensive. I mean...
He wanted the attention to the other side as far as possible. I think he just wanted the maximum defense because he knew that he wanted to use the rocket right after. So after using the rocket, you go behind the elixir. So you need some defensive moves like that.
That was a really good defense there by Zebra. Like, we keep talking about Expo Master, but Zebra's placement there so that the Goblin will split so they cannot get locked straight away. And then dropping down the Mega Knight was really good defense.
He does have the he does have the rocket already. He knows that he has the game. Once he has a log, and that's it. And sometimes you do so much more damage with those spells. I think he did about 1,200 damage with spells only.
And then the rest of the damage was done by the Expos.
Mm-hmm.
Like, great placement and perfect timing every time.
That was well played, and that was a 3-0 coming out from Expo Master. Finally, we got to take a look at some Expo play coming out from the Master. We have learned, guys, and take it in your practice and go put it into ladder. But we also have one more match coming up between Ito and Charshu. We'll be back with match number 4 very soon. Welcome back with match number 4. Ito is ready on the left. Charshu is ready on the right. They have a special seat. I'm pretty sure it's pretty... I've sat there for a second and it's pretty comfy.
Really?
OGN production.
You sat there for a second and then like one of the players just grabbed you and threw you off the chair or something?
Well, I was kind of like sneaking in with like a goblin barrel. I'm like, woohoo! And then I sat there for a second and a zap took out of me.
Well, I move in like a Mega Knight, so I can't really sneak in on anything. It's like everything starts shaking as I
Then
try
you'll
to walk
probably
in.
jump all the stage production, you know?
Just break everything.
That's $400, Simon, or more.
How much?
Because see on the stage the coins. They
Yeah.
actually have more than 3,000 coins there, but
You
that's a
have
lot
been
of coins. I was told by the production they bought lots of coins for our Clash Royale.
You
know?
have been waiting so long to drop that information on everybody.
But we're ready to jump into. Before we jump in, let's take a look at the players.
스파키를 보는 순간 깜짝 놀랐어요. 아, 스파키가 엄청 세더라고요.
이도 소태도
그걸 지는 순간 약간 멘탈이 무너질 뻔했는데 잘 추스려가지고 이긴 것 같습니다.
그냥 한번 스파키가 있다 보여주고 싶어서 쓴 거였는데 이길 줄은 몰랐어요.
대회를 하면서 이런 류의 사람은 처음 본 것 같아요. 예측을 할 수가 없어요. 뭐가 나올지 몰라가지고
그냥 찍었어요. 8경기 택이 다 다를걸요? 솔직히 감을 잡을 수가 없죠. 그게 제가 노리는 거였기도 했고 제가 그냥 했던 거 그게 만약에 상성이 맞으면 이긴다. 아니면 진다. 딱 이거죠.
지금 조 1위로 6점인데 오늘도 가뿐하게 2승하고 6점 챙겨가겠습니다.
Well, it's a rematch. Last time Charshu took the match with a 3-2. It was a full series, and as you saw from what Ito said, he never, except for just one game of today, he never played the same deck in this tournament.
Yes, true. And he even brought out Sparky. And that game, Sparky did so much work. It just destroyed everything.
It was also the very first game of the series last time when they versed each other. And even himself, he was saying, I didn't actually know that I would win with the Sparky. And that was before the changes, guys. It was only in day 2.
Like, why even put in a deck if you don't know it's gonna win?
Well, he wants to have that randomness to play with the mind games. As we see, he is basically the, I wouldn't say the counter, he is the opposite of all the other Korean players where they stick with their deck if they win most of the time. But this person does not.
Yeah, Ido lost the first game against Chasu, won against Expo Master and lost against Zebra. Whereas Chasu is a win-win and a draw.
So he is on top in Group B for now. He has 7 points for himself. But maybe he wants to finish strong. But if he loses here, there will be lots of, I guess, lots of draw potentials coming out from Group B, because lots of Ido will be having 2-2 and also Chashu having 2-2 with a tie. Even Expo Master, after that 3-0 match number 3, I think they will all be tied similarly.
Yeah, if Chasu loses here, this group is incredibly close. We will have Expo on 7, Zebra on 3, but Graveyard ban, just before I finish that off, Graveyard and Elixir bans, interesting. Graveyard has made a lot of decks in this tournament.
I think that's the first Graveyard ban for today, and there has been so many Graveyard plays coming out with the Miner. Expo was using it, Charshu was also using it in match number 1. Even Ido was using it today, so I think that's a pretty good card. Seems like after this ban, they have to spend full 3 minutes probably. Well, Charshu was expecting this, was he banned it. Maybe Ido has to really go through all his decks and try to make some adjustments because of this ban now.
Yeah, but Ido, I think last time we saw Ido's deck list, it was like 100 decks or something like that. He has a lot of decks, so I think he's a lot more comfortable with ban lists than other players are.
Chashu, also Expo Master, when he was going against Chashu, he was also banning Expo Collector. They're just worried about some Golem potentials coming out from Chashu once more, as he was basically using Golem so much in Group B. Well, day number 2 of the tournament, where we had Group B round robin for the first time. So with that Elixir gone, I think a lot less chance of having Golem out now. But he was still using it in match number 1 though.
I don't know if we'll see Golem in this game, but if we do, I'm pretty sure Chasu will be using it.
Well, yeah, for that, true. And let's see, though, he was using lots of Ice Golems. Even Furnace, he was trying to change his deck multiple times. And even, well, he was using Sparky, as you guys saw from the VCR. Tombstone, even Barrel, Lava Loon. So basically, he has all types of decks. Some ground, some air, some heavy, some light. So you do not know which one he's going to use. So that's a very good mind game, because this is a double round robin. If you know the player well, what they're going to do, if you can actually have a higher chance of predicting what they're going to do next, then that's a good way for you to prepare. But if a player actually plays a different deck every single game, can you even predict what they're going to do?
I mean, even if you bring if you bring different decks every game, you usually still have a preferred routine, what you prefer to use in certain orders. So even though you change the deck all the time, you might find there's pairings all the time. Maybe he will always use Goblin Barrel with Ice Golem. He will always use Knight with Mega Knights. Like, these things you can still predict.
Ido also brought in some Expo. So basically, all the decks played in Korea right now, Ido has been using. He was using his own Elixir Collector along with Golem. Some mini P.E.K.K.A we did not see too much in this tournament. So he's been bringing out some uncommon card, as we basically saw. The most, I would say, most played cards are Poison Spell along with Graveyard today.
Yeah.
But with Graveyard Bin, we'll see something different for our last match, the final match for today.
I just want to point out, I think the only reason he used Expo was because he was against Expo Master. I don't think he was expecting it to win.
I feel like he expected it just to play a little mind game with Expo Master, saying like, you're not the master, I'm the master of Expos. I don't think he intentionally adds that into decks. I don't think we will see it again today.
Well, let's see as Ido's just shuffling around all kinds of his decks here. And I think the time is about 22 seconds. I think they are about to be ready as they're shuffling and double checking their decks last moment. If you have some weird card on your deck and if you do not double check, if you have some crazy cards that you do not intentionally put in, you do have to play those decks if you go into it with those games, into the game with those decks. So just double checking, using the last time to double check, and I think we are set and ready to go for game number 1. What kind of decks do you think they bring into game number 1?
Hog Rider, I think we'll see a few cannon cards, especially because
cannon
Mega
card?
Knights are quite
Well, let's
popular.
see. There was an update. Let's see if they have changed their deck going into game number 1. All right, Ido. That's bottom blue. And Charshu on top red. We are waiting for them to deploy their units. Furnace used once more. We did see one furnace coming out from Ido.
A tombstone. Interesting that they both have building openers here. Maybe they were expecting like someone else, like the other player, to play Goblin Hut. Interesting choice here. Lava Hound coming down from Chasu with an Inferno Dragon answer from Ido. Arguably the perfect answer to a Lava.
Yes, the perfect one.
And a Balloon too.
But Anna Balloon makes it a whole different story now.
Yeah, that changes the story completely.
And Inferno Dragon is not attacking the balloon. Balloon does connect once. Almost twice. Yes, almost. That was as close it gets before it drops a second shot. But that did so much damage. Half down now.
Yeah, the Lava Hound, the Balloon, as we know, is an incredible attack, right? It's so strong. And it did so much work here for Chasu.
Let's see. Maybe last time he played, he also had the poison. I'm talking about Ido on this deck, along with the log. Let's see how well he wants to take care of this with the hut now.
Yeah, so the hut is a safer answer, I think, at this point on that side to the Lava Hound. Because if there is a balloon drop behind it, there will be some kind of answer for the balloon.
So Inferno Dragon again.
The poison, though, that is going to negate that Goblin Hut for such a long time.
Okay,
Inferno Dragon goes down.
but Ido also drops the poison a little bit too far. Actually, the minis did some damage to the tower. It is close. And let's see, Charshu has some spells, I guess, with some poison and zaps. But he can take care of the building with the spell damage.
There's a Mega Knight. But the pups from the Lava Hound they did so much work mitigating damage across everything, so more damage can be put down onto the tower.
Let's see, the lava is coming and the balloon is now here, but has to use a hut to take the damage away from the balloon and the lava, but is that going to be enough?
Yes,
Even Furnace.
the Furnace takes the aggro from the balloon, saving this tower, but the poison might just be enough.
And he does have zap, I believe. And just one more poison will finish the game for sure, but he doesn't even need too much. And with the extra time, I think he has more than enough time to finish the game.
It's just not enough, but the poison finishes the game. Chasu, the balloon Lava Hound was rather unexpected.
Yeah, the lava balloon coming out from Charshu. Of course, because in his very first match, he was using a same deck all over and over. Again, the Graveyard Poison Tornado deck, which we saw from match number 1 against Expo Master. It was just, he was using that deck the entire day, so Ido did not know what other decks he was planning, and I think he was caught off guard here. Nice strategy to use from day number 3.
There's
Day number
Zebra
4.
sitting in with the kids.
With the fans there.
And then they just cover his face because nobody wants to see it. We'd rather see the cheerfuls.
They're just cheering for Charshu at the moment. Not a single one for Ido. Feels bad, but still, Charshu takes the win in first match. maybe they have both sides. One, if Charshu wins, they flip it over, and then goes like, "Oh, please win, Charshu." And then if Ido wins, they just flip it over, says, "Oh, fighting Ido." I used to do that when I was a kid, you know.
Yeah, well, I have integrity, so I never changed my... Like, I'm a big soccer fan, a big football fan, I should say. I never change my shirt depending on my team. And my team is terrible. I would never, ever change my team. I'm not a turncoat.
Okay. But maybe change the players in the team. Seems required.
I would change most of them for the last few years.
You don't need to change the team, but change the players in the team if that helps for the result of the team. But after that, they will have a minute. Seems like Ido needs to have some homework to do for the minute that he's given, and the minute is up already. Too much talk about soccer. And I love soccer too, but we're here with esports and Clash Royale coming in. Game 2 is ready. Ido wants to turn this around. Still 1-0. Charshu leading in the series. Let's go into game number 2.
So Ido in the blue, Chasu in the red. Ido does have a lot of work to do.
He's down 1-0, and last time he was using lots of buildings to actually take the attention away from all the air units. The lava loons, it didn't work later on, but the initial balloon that he has pushed, Infernal Dragon, maybe Ido thought that was enough, but once he saw the balloon kicking in, he was dropping everything. He was just trying to cycle, he was dropping some minions to do some, but it was not enough. Maybe he didn't have the poison spell, which was available later on, but not at that moment.
Yeah, it was a tough game. But changes did need to be made, and it looks like he has made a few. He's bringing Zap, Ice Wizard, Electro Wizard, minions, but we get the Lava Hound
it is Lava Hound
again.
once again. Charshu does not want to change. Let's see how they want to delay. Oh, Mega Knight actually dropped onto the other side.
So Ido is like,
he wants to
I
counter.
can beat you to the tower. My Mega Knight will deal so much more damage than your Lava Hound will.
It's a lot quicker too. These goblins are working, but the Mega Knight is pretty tanky, as you can see. Electro Wizard now dropped. Lava Loon actually, Lava without the balloon does not do too much damage. He's waiting for that moment.
Especially if you can distract the pups, it deals a lot less.
Tornado this time.
But didn't pull the pups all too far away from the tower. They continue to deal so much damage.
Yes, maybe small, but if you let those
they pack a big
small
punch.
Ones. Yes, this
pack a very big punch.
And the minis, and if you talk about minis, and Mini P.E.K.K.A will do crazy damage if they get a single hit onto the tower.
Yeah, Mini P.E.K.K.A is like P.E.K.K.A on a diet. It still deals so much
but
damage.
Just still do the same damage, but just on a diet, so a lot thinner.
So here comes the Lava Hound and the balloon. Will Ido have an answer?
Just trying to delay the poison. Is it doing damage onto the Lava Hound? I think, yes.
Yes, it does. That was a good defense, but the bomb here is going to take out so much.
And he had to use a lot of elixirs for that. Let's see how Charshu wants to keep on approaching with the Lava Hound. Sparky! Once more from Ido. Let's see. It is on to the other side of the map.
You know, this is how I feel that Ido is going to win this game. He's going to let Chasu go for the Lava Hounds. He's going to let him connect. But he's going to just counter-attack on the other side.
All the minions die. Mega Minion is doing some damage. Oh, nicely
Didn't
done.
connect. Unlucky there. But he does need to counter on that lane. I think you leave the Lava Hound and just push on the other side. Just so, like, you can deal more damage than a Lava Hound.
But now even the poison spell is doing damage to the tower. Tornado will get lava out of the range, but once it explodes,
Pups should finish this, and a zap to finish. Honestly, I feel like Ido had the answer very early on when he went Mega Knight just on the opposite lane. I feel like if he continued to just throw stuff down that lane, I feel like he could have stabilized, he could have won the game just on a counter push.
Let's see. Charshu just leading the series with a 2-0 now, and has been playing the same exact one once he started a set with a deck. He just kept on rolling, even if he lose or win. I don't think he has to change right now.
I think the kids are asking Zebra for deck advice. Hey, what do you feel about this deck? And Zebra's just like,
I'm in arena too. I can't seem to go up for some reason. No.
Zebra would just be like, yeah, you need an Electro Wizard in a graveyard. And he's like,
Also, like, I don't have any legendaries. What do I do now? But well, time for you to maybe grind some more. I actually got legendary chest from just playing the game once.
I got
happy.
one legendary.
And
from
I got a
free
lumberjack.
chest. Well, I mean, lumberjack's better than getting no legendary for like a year from the
It was
free
like
chests.
a 24-hour, I think. It was a long time of wait, but still I got it. Hey.
The super magical chest is what you're talking about, right? The pink one.
Was it the super magical chest?
Because I got a super magical chest and it gave me nothing, no legendaries. It just gave me epics and rares.
I think it was a legendary chest actually. Because I think that was the very first one, and I was wondering, oh, this must be like a super like one of the best chests in the game. And I opened it and it was like, oh, it only gives me one card.
Yeah, that would be the legendary chest.
Yes. I think
Alright.
that was a legendary chest. And
Time
the minute's
is
up!
So I feel like Chasu's going to bring the same deck. Ido is going to
Very
change.
likely. Let's see, what kind of decks did he use before? Let's go into the game first and then talk about it. We are ready to jump into game 3 though. Ido has to have a major comeback right now, down 0-2 against Chasu. Let's go into game number 3, our last match.
Alright, if anyone can come back from this, Ido can.
Okay, a barrel.
Instantly dealt with there by the goblins. I mean, Princess as well. We're seeing a different deck here from Chasu. Baby Dragon. Yeah, Princess is an interesting change. It didn't actually counter anything that we saw before.
Ido, he still has lots of decks because he was using a lot. Trying to see if this is a similar deck to what he played before. I don't think
Dark
he has
Goblin.
played Dart at all.
I think he played it earlier, right? I remember seeing the Dark Goblin earlier. I just assumed that's an Ido deck. Gang of Goblins perfectly split, actually. Making sure that the Spear Goblins connect with the air units. Barrel comes in and activates the tower. Chasu activates that King Tower.
That's how you use a tornado, and reason why you bring a tornado into the game.
This is really tough now for Ido to come back. Depending on his last 3 cards, it really closes out a lot of finishers get countered by activating the King Tower this early.
Also has a tombstone to draw the attention away from the bandit charging into the tower, which is a very good way, one of the best way to deal with. Because tombstone's not really like a high elixir cost structure, it's one of the lowest one.
Good luck, but not quick enough to save the Barrel of Goblins. What else can he have in this deck that acts as a finisher? He can't have made a deck that solely relies on Bandit and Goblin Barrel, right?
And he cannot have a graveyard as it is banned away. Now here comes Chachu's signature card. The golems are slowly approaching with the Night Witch.
Tesla Tower, what a choice. We saw it do work for Expo. Let's see if it can do work here for Ido.
He is defending, and Princess doing a lot of area damage here, but is that going to keep it? Nice tornado use, and he wants to drag all the damage from Baby Dragon into multiple damage. Now so much damage onto the chair. It's going down so quickly. It's going to be going down.
That went down so quickly there. Chasu feels like he's probably got this game in the bag.
And that golem, and he's so good at these strong pushes. With the tornado, with the Baby Dragon, has basically gets everything now. That's a quick game. That's the end of the series.
That is the first game we've had in the Crown Championship Korean, the Korea one, where it ended before the end of 3 minutes. That's the first
so.
3 crowns.
Well, we did have for 3 crown once, I think, but this was a lot quicker than the other one.
Yeah, it was over so quickly. Chasu just powered down with the goal.
Yeah, I think Ido by that time, after the Golem was making a big push, he knew that it's really hard. You know the feeling once you basically lose a tower because your Wi-Fi does not connect for a second or something. Of course, it did not happen here, but you know that feeling once you start to lose and you know that it's probably like impossible to come back from here, you know. And Ido just was not having his day today.
Yeah, and it's going to be tough for Ido to advance to the round of 8. The round of 8? He's already in the round of 8. It's going to be really hard for him to advance from this group with a 1-3 score.
Well, 1-3, and now Chashu actually has
3-0-1.
3-1-1. 3-0-1?
It's 3-0-1, right?
Yes, 3 wins. Yeah, 3 wins, 1 tie, 1 loss, right? No, never mind.
He never
There's
lost.
no way. He never lost, right?
Oh.
Let's see. Oh my, Chashu just standing on top then.
Yeah, he has 10 points right now.
Oh, I was thinking about Expo Master for some reason. Never mind. There are lots of players, as we can see. Ido seems quite puzzled, as what did he do wrong? As Ido's on the left, Chashu on right. Listening to the Korean casters, he's smiling at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I can see why you're getting confused because they keep changing the colors of their shirts. We need a set color per player. It's getting hard to follow what's going on.
Well, that was a quick series and also a good way of using. It's a brilliant strategy because of the double round robin format we have here. But let's take a look at the replay. This is the last game with the Golem.
I mean, the way Ido was talking was like, I have so many decks prepared, I should be able to take this, but the decks he showed today just didn't live up to what he needed them to do. And that could have been because of the graveyard ban.
Nice timing of the Tombstone just coming out. He knew, he was waiting for that moment to drop down his building there to cancel the charge onto the Bandit. The barrel did some damage, but this was a big one. After this moment, he couldn't even really push into the Princess Tower at all.
And you can see Chasu there, after bringing that Goblin into the Crown Tower, was cycling through his cards. He's just tapping them. He's like, yeah, I've got this now. I've got this.
Oh, Ido actually holding that rocket for a long time, and I don't think he ever got to really put that down on the units. Maybe he was just low on elixir, trying to do some damage. And biggest thing, he was trying to make the Bandit as a playing card here and using Tesla as a defense. But let's take a look at this offense. It's insane.
Yeah, good tornado there. Making the Baby Dragon deal all the damage. And at this point, Ido kind of gives up.
Offensive tornado, the Golem death, the explosion damage, the Baby Dragon's area damage, everything just went in and all the way to the King Tower just like that. That was an incredible push.
It's not very often you see the Night Witch actually connect with the King Tower at all. Like, usually she gets nowhere near. And this time she got a good few hits.
Yeah, with the Golem, and that area damage was just immense, and Ido just did not have the perfect defense against it. He was actually trying to push it at the same time, and did not work out, but we will have the result very soon on the screen. What a crazy day we'd had. Even day 3 we had some close, crazy matches, and tonight we have a tie for the first time.
Yep, a tie for the first time. We had Expo actually playing the Expo, like
That's
Expo
right.
Master, showing us how it's done.
Let's take a look at the updated standing. 10 points. Wow. Chashu standing on top in Group B. Expo Master in second with 2-1-1. Ido 103, Zebra 103. So lots of points for Group B.
At this point, Chasu has qualified. There is no way anyone can catch up. There's a possible 6 points for every player in the next game, because there's 2 more games, right? So Chasu is qualified.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
If I can do the math correctly, he will be at least second place. He will be going to the decider match and the semifinals very likely. As we have next round of matches, the final round robin for Group A. We'll have one more day of Group A and one more day of Group B to have everyone play each other twice. Double round robin format. Haemusu versus Chungang, match number 1. And you can see all that. Group A, another series. We also have Jun versus Jungela, the popular YouTube streamer or YouTubers there. And that's the one that you want to look into, as they want to really put their name on top, you know.
Yeah, it's a bit of a grudge match between those two. Like, when they face each other, they both bring everything they have. And last time, Youngla won, so Youngla has the bragging rights. This time, I think June is just going to go all out. He needs to take it for his standing in the YouTube community.
Of course, you do have to win, and you do want to win against your big rival. I think that's going to be the match. Match number 2 will be the one of the biggest one coming up very soon. But that's going to be it for us. And it's going to be, yeah, that's it for day number 4. We had 4 best of 5s again. We had a tie. So we're having everything in Korea. We're having ties. We're having some Expo. We're having some Tesla towers. Sparkies. I want to see some lumberjacks. Maybe that will come in later on.
Well, I mean, if anyone's going to do it, Chasu's already qualified.
Well, that's it for us for day number 4. We will see you guys in day number 5. We'll be back with more Clash Royale action.